I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Generally, you said feminism is neutral.
Here's what actually happened.
The foundation of all knowledge.
I'm really mad that
what difference does it make, right? What
Stop. Stop.
the deregulation of the industry is obviously going to cause more of that industry.
And to lubricate the trust connection between people until they have enough.
Yet we could still look at biological reality in determining who's a female, even if there are.
Why don't you denounce feminism the same way you're denouncing capitalism? If you don't...
For something to be objective, it needs to be verifiable. And you can't verify...
If I make a claim as a political pundit, it is true that I definitely could be wrong. That you're promoting, right?
Ideology is the main thing of politics, right? This is my ideology. So 2015, anyone go back and watch the footage. The first GOP debate.
Cool, Robert. Oh, that? With a crowbar, you said.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this week's Moderator Monday. I am Sarah the Raging Tomato, bringing to you live another fun debate. My apologies for the delay. The Bratty Tomato was playing a game. They won 8-1. They kicked butt, so it was all worthy of a good cause, I promise. Anyways, the statement or the question of the evening is, are anti-abortion laws effective at reducing abortions? Steelborne, would you like to kick off with your opening statement, please?
Yeah, thanks for having us all up here and finding this rowdy bunch of bad people to come up in here and do this debate. None of us are qualified enough to do this, but we're going to do it anyways. Tonight, my partner and I will be arguing that laws that ban or at very least heavily restrict access to abortion, if they are enforced, are/will be effective in lowering the abortion rates. The opposition is going to have to defend against a few arguments I'm going to make, which are kind of out of their handbook. If they took this view of bans don't work, then it's a logical conclusion they would have to argue that we shouldn't ban things like arson, theft, murder, SA, because there's no point. If we ban them, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to lower the total number of any of those things. We'd have to argue that their advocacy for gun control wouldn't work. Tarring and feathering politicians, well, it doesn't happen, but not because of the ban. That has nothing to do with that. Saying you can't do that to people doesn't have anything to do with it. They basically have to argue that banning something doesn't reduce the totality of whatever the behavior that we're trying to reduce is. Not only is this blatantly false, but it's so easy to point out how this line of reasoning would lead to societal collapse. I can demonstrate in multiple areas such as Texas, Poland, Nicaragua, and Florida that the abortion rates have dropped and the birth rate has had an uptick. According to an article from the Johns Hopkins University, in a study examining the impacts on the 14 states in the United States that banned abortions between 2022 and 2023, they found that there was an unexpected increase of over 22,000 live births from their estimations, meaning 22,000 more than they anticipated. It's kind of funny how that works. Now my opponents might argue that infant mortality has slightly increased by about 5.6%. Sounds really, really high until you look at what the actual numbers they are that the 5.6% represents, meaning that instead of 5.93 per 1,000 live births, 5.93 babies would die. It's increased to about 6.2, so about an increase of 0.25. So Now, as it is sad that, infants pass away, natural causes are a lot less, upsetting to people than the intentional destruction. So if you have more babies being born, the likelihood of some of them dying is going to necessarily increase. But again, this is all stemming from the idea that bans don't work to reduce the abortions that we're specifically advocating against. I'd have to say that those 22,000 live birthed children would disagree, since they're here to tell you that. With that, I can't wait to get into the debate, and I will see the rest of my time.
Thank you, Steelborne. SpeakeaZy, to you, please.
All right, so thank you to my partner for coming out. Sarah, I got to give it up to you for finding two people stupid enough to take the opposite side of this. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off really quick. We're debating whether anti-abortion laws are effective at reducing abortion. The answer is obviously fucking yes, right? If you ban something, you get less of it. Laws reduce the behavior, period, right? Pretending otherwise is like saying, do speed limits reduce speeding? Of course they do, right? Some jackass is still going to do 95 in a school zone, but overall the numbers are going to drop, right? Suddenly, though, with abortion, people act like human nature magically suspends itself, right? If you raise the cost, you raise the risk, you limit the access, fewer abortions happen. It's economics 101 married to biology 101, right? Just like my partner mentioned, you look at the Texas SB 8 hit, abortion numbers collapsed by half in a month, right? This isn't just a vibe or a guess, that's math, right? And he mentioned also Poland, El Salvador, Nicaragua. These are all cause and effect, right? One thing I'm guessing the opponents might want to cry about and bring up is like, oh, look at the coat hangers and horror stories and the back alley abortions that are going to happen. We don't live in 1960 anymore, okay? You can order Plan B faster than you get a fucking pizza, all right? So this myth of mass deaths in the alleys is outdated, right? What actually happens is just fewer abortions. So I'm going to give you an analogy to wrap this up here. Banning abortion is like locking a cookie jar, right? Does it stop every kid from getting their sneaky hand in there? No. But a hell of a lot fewer cookies are going to disappear. And that is, by definition, effectiveness. Lock it up. The numbers prove it. So the real question is simple. Are we arguing from data or Disney fairy tales, right? Because the data is blunt, ugly, and inconvenient for the other side. And so let's get right into it.
Thank you, SpeakeaZy. Soy, to you, please.
Yeah, hi. So I am sympathetic to SpeakeaZy's argument. I think it is very obvious that if you make something illegal, there are going to be number droppage in some extent. But luckily, we aren't being defeated by a sillily worded prompt here that says, does abortion laws reduce the numbers by any amount? Because the answer is yes, obviously. The question is whether or not it's effective in actually reducing abortions. And if you look at the Guttmacher Institute study on how this works, first of all, if you compare just countries where abortion is illegal and legal, there's actually very similar rates of abortion, if not lower rates of abortion, because of access to contraceptive, which when controlled for is actually the thing that is reducing abortions because it leads to fewer unintended pregnancies. Now, what they can't account for, what they couldn't possibly, say like this is definitely the case, is what happens when you change abortion laws. So, for example, what happened when Roe v. Wade went away recently? And the answer is, in the short term, yeah, you're going to see a drop when you limit access. This is, of course, true if you were to say, hey, like, if we just disappeared all the guns in this state, gun crime would go down to some extent. But what you're going to see over time is that there are people who are getting access to this in other ways, whether that be illegally, whether that be by traveling to other states, whether that be by getting mail pills. People still get abortions. This is not, unfortunately, a effective way to reduce the abortions in the long term, and it doesn't even raise the birth rates necessarily. If you look at the University of Houston study of, I believe it was of Texas. So ultimately, it just seems like the best way to get rid of abortions, or at least reduce the number of abortions, is to increase access to contraception so people don't have unintended pregnancies. Because the laws, while in the short term might reduce the numbers a little bit, don't ultimately stop abortions. If anything, people are just going to get more abortions that are unsafe. And yeah, you can call me moral grandstanding, but if people are going to do it anyway, and it seems like that's what's going to happen, I'd rather they not die and get coat hangered. But as per Steelborne's point, 22,000 people say that they're happy, but I could win a debate against 22,000 children, so I don't see the point.
Thank you so much, Soy. Enemy Charlie, to you, please.
And not only did abortions in the United States increase, especially in states surrounding states with abortion bans, according to a study done by the University of Houston on post-ops fertility rates in Texas and California, abortion bans aren't even very effective in raising the fertility rate. There was a minor boost fertility rates in Texas in 2022, but those rates declined in 2023 because Texan women adjusted their fertility behavior by seeking out-of-state abortions or using a variety of methods to prevent pregnancy, such as abstinence or contraceptive use. As Soy Pill said, the only way to reliably decrease the rate of abortions is to ensure access to contraception, or by mandating gay sex only until someone is ready to have a child.
Fair enough. Thank you, Enemy Charlie. All right. So a kind reminder to the audience, we will get through our debate. We will do our closing statements. Then we will read and respond to your super chats. And of course, as always, we will go into your favorite portion of the show, open panel dumpster fire. Lady and gentlemen, I leave the floor open to you.
Let's just get the red herring out of the way. We're not talking about fertility rates here. The argument is not about disbanding abortion, increase fertility rates. That has nothing to do with the debate. Totally a red herring, irrelevant, has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're talking about if you ban a behavior and make it much harder to access said behavior or said practice, does that necessarily decrease the practice? I would argue absolutely yes.
We
any other
proved
example,
that it did not, because we have the data, which we
did
can
the
link
abortions
to
in
you.
Texas go down?
No, you didn't actually prove that, because using the national averages to prove the state laws don't work is like pointing out the U.S. weather report to prove it doesn't snow in Minnesota. Right?
States
it doesn't make any sense.
Bordering states with abortion bans had an increase in abortions.
That's a good
again,
way
that
to
means
avoid.
we agree with that.
That's a good way to avoid.
Hold on. Let's reset here. Let's go one at a time.
They are leaving the state to have abortions.
So those
Certainly,
states should ban it
in
too.
states with
So
abortion bans, they are
effective
having
then?
less abortions. However, that is because women are leaving that state to have their abortions.
Are the
So you
people
have
in
not
Texas
decreased the amount of
getting
abortions in the U.S.
Did it decrease the amount of abortions in Texas?
Happening. You haven't done anything.
Did it decrease the amount in Texas?
That's not the argument, buddy.
How about Florida?
It is, because again, when you point out the national average to prove that a state law doesn't work, it would be like pointing out the weather average to prove it doesn't snow in Minnesota. It doesn't make any actual sense. You have to go state by state.
If you
is it effective?
Would it be effective insofar
if every state did it, where would they go?
Ban, I'm sure you'd see some significant reduction in the short term, but that's why we brought up that when you compare these countries where they don't have contraception, who also limit abortion, and I'm assuming you guys are not pro-contraception, maybe you are, as Steelborne might be, but most people who make this argument for abortion are not pro-contraception. If you compare that to countries where they have even more restricted abortion access, we do actually see similar amounts of abortions. They're just not as legal. These people just get a lot of unintended pregnancies and then get abortions some other ways. And the problem is, you're going to see a drop immediately, but the demand is not disappearing because you're banning abortion. You're just making it harder for people to get them there. In the same way that if you ban guns in a state, of course,
what you're saying is saying that it is effective,
I have a question.
Hold on, guys. You're all talking over each other, and I know if I can't understand, and you neither can the audience.
Do 18-year-olds still get their hands on beer?
Yeah, all the time.
Isn't it illegal for them to have that? How do they do it? I don't get it. So they violate the law and they do it anyways. This thing that they're not allowed to do, and if they're caught, they get punished for.
Okay.
So we should just like get rid of the drinking age, right? Because it's just not going to stop the 18-year-olds from getting beer, right?
Well, that's.
I mean, I'm actually in favor of lowering the drinking age, but that's a different conversation. The point is not that, hey, obviously this is going to deter some amount of people if you make it illegal. I think an interesting analogy that SpeakeaZy brought up is, if we made speeding, making speeding illegal doesn't stop people from speeding in the same way that like we shouldn't get rid of speeding laws, because that doesn't mean it's not an argument to get rid of speeding laws, but there are ways that if you were to restrict speeding, say, hey, what if we made all speeding over 10 miles an hour illegal? You would not stop people from driving over 10 miles an hour. You would get some chunk of people who would follow this in certain places, but unfortunately the demand for driving faster than 10 miles per hour is high enough that you're not really going to significantly and effectively stop people from driving faster than 10 miles an hour. And it seems that there are other ways to alleviate this that aren't restrictive abortion laws, like the contraception thing.
Do you think the overwhelming majority of women who seek abortions are, going to expend thousands upon thousands of dollars and, suffer, at the very least, their civil freedoms just to kill their baby? I'm trying to understand like the premise here. Like,
So,
I think if you
yeah,
make
dude,
it harder
if
to
I-
access,
if-
they're not going to access it as much. Like, if we banned M&Ms in every state in the United States, do you think the number of M&Ms consumed in the U.S. would necessarily decrease by a massive amount because nobody's going to spend
All
a
right,
whole bunch of money?
Steelborne, I don't know if you've ever drove to another state, but
Yeah, I have.
if I got pregnant right now and I lived in a state where abortion was illegal, I would take the time to drive across the border and go get
And if
an
every state
abortion
banned it?
because it's a lot cheaper. Well, I'd get one any way I could.
So you would just break the law. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Of
Yeah,
course,
you're
duh.
just saying like,
Duh,
holy shit.
I would,
man.
yeah.
People still
guys,
steal
I don't
cars.
No.
We have theft laws.
easy.
Like what you guys are saying doesn't
No.
actually
No.
fit your argument.
No,
If it wasn't effective, nobody would be. There would be no change.
I don't
You
know
would
if
see
you
no
have the mental
change from the
capacity
law.
to understand what we're saying at all.
Oh,
Like, I don't know what
wait,
what
let me
you
repeat-
do.
speaking
Data-
to Ross, I'm
data
gonna repeat
shows-
this
You the
one time for
female
another
version.
Hold up,
Soy
hold
Pill.
up, hold up,
Yeah,
hold
what's
up,
it-
hold
It's
up,
all you
hold up.
guys do. Oh, you guys can't comprehend when you're
Just
back
can't
into a fucking
comprehend
corn.
the simple
Oh,
words
you
that
just
we're
can't
saying.
get it.
Well,
I'm too
Steelborne,
smart
I know you
for
can
you.
comprehend.
I mean, brother,
I'm too
look
smart
at
for
you.
you.
Look at you.
All right, let's find a
Fuck outta here,
question and get there.
Okay, so I want to repeat this one last time. If you are making the argument that will the number of abortions reduce by any flat number if we banned it nationwide, the answer is obviously yes. The question is not
So you
will the
concede.
number go down. No,
That's great.
I knew you were going to say that, but you got to
Oh my
wait
gosh.
until I finish the thing that you're not capable of understanding.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it effective in getting rid of abortion? And that's why I brought up this Guttmacher study that compares countries.
So
with
if a law doesn't
incredibly
get rid of
restrictive
something, it's
and
not
Hold on, let him
effective?
finish. Let him finish.
so if you compare it to countries with incredibly restrictive abortion laws, you'll actually see that the abortion rate is very similar to how it is here, if not higher in certain cases, because the demand for abortion seems to go up with the amount of unintended pregnancies, which is not correlated to abortion laws. It's
So-
correlated to whether or not people are getting pregnant
All right.
when they don't want to. And that
To be
happens when there's a
clear,
lack
if
of
it
access
doesn't
to contraception.
completely hold 1 second. If it doesn't completely get rid of it, it's not effective. Is that your argument right now?
It's not just not getting
Yes.
completely rid of it. It's not even getting rid of
Yeah,
it to a point where
yes.
these rates are
Well-
significantly different from countries where they have abortion access. That's the problem. If not,
So
Okay,
at
Soy Pill,
least,
if I want
okay,
people
so
to
at
stop
least
using-
half of you are going to say have to concede right now. No laws are effective, right, Charlie?
What?
No laws are effective, right? You just said
got
it
your
doesn't
idea.
completely get rid of it.
Well,
The
we're
law
talking
isn't
about the
effective.
data, dude.
No, 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 no.
You're
Don't-
making a
don't backpedal
comparison
now.
that's inaccurate.
SpeakeaZy, if we banned breathing, do you think it would get rid of breathing?
Yeah, that's just.
Well, no,
this-
I'm just
this is
asking. I mean,
this
do you
pivot
think
you're trying
if
to
we
do,
banned
no,
breathing,
thank
would
you.
it get rid of breathing?
No,
So it's
thank
just
you.
that's a biological
Yes or
thing,
no?
obviously.
I'm not engaging with stupidity, right? You're
Well, hey,
just
dude,
trying to
I
do
am.
it.
I don't
I'm
wanna
in this
engage
debate
You're
with
trying to
you.
save.
Yeah,
You're trying to
I
save your
don't-
partner now. from
Reset,
the-
reset. Ask
Sarah,
your
make him answer the
question,
question.
SpeakeaZy.
Yeah. So again, if the law doesn't completely get rid of something, is it effective or not?
What would you need to see for it to be effective? What percentage drop?
It just has to have a measurable decline.
Okay, what measurable? Everything is measurable. If it decreased abortions by 1, would that be enough?
Oh
Would you
my
call that
gosh.
effective?
Sorry.
If it decreased abortions by 1 more abortion didn't happen because of this law, would you say that's an effective law?
Well, by definition, if it was in the where it was banned, yeah.
Yeah. So nationwide we banned abortion, and
You're the idiot that took the other
I'm
side.
asking.
I know
I'm
you're
asking-
talking
I'm
to me
asking
like
if you
I'm
consider
dumb,
this to
right?
be
You
effective.
Hold
took
on,
the
hold
other
on, hold
side.
on, hold on. Get to your point, Soy.
That's my point. My point is this effective? Because when I consider effective, I would say, hey, these restrictive laws seem to actually put them in similar rates of abortions as places with no restrictions, if not having worse numbers, which I would say this is not effective at all. You're not even reducing it to a significant degree. I would say
How
that's
would it
not
be
effective. But
worse
if the
numbers?
litmus test is does 1 fewer abortion happen, I mean, well, shit, I guess we should just have laws that do 1 of anything, because there's so many effective things we could be implementing.
Hold on, real quick, Soy Pill. Do you think that if we decriminalized battery, that more people would get punched in the face for saying stupid stuff?
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you guys think that prohibition
that
was
allows-
effective?
even though people still punch people in the face for saying stupid stuff, that law that says you can't do that is effective in reducing.
Do you guys
that, or-
think that prohibition was effective? Because I would say that there's some things people.
Yes,
do in
yes.
certain
Just
aspects,
because
yeah.
illegal
It wasn't
shit
effective,
happened
bro.
doesn't mean it's not effective. Less
in
people
certain
drank.
areas, yes,
Prohibition.
All right,
understand
all right,
that?
all right, all right, all
Why do you
right.
think they got rid of
Moonshiners were going
prohibition?
crazy.
You're-
I'm
you're-
related to
you're-
moonshiners.
If you're gonna talk about effective based on your feelings, then maybe you can say it wasn't effective.
No, it's
effective by
based
numbers.
on
It reduced
reality.
people drinking. Yes. What are you talking about?
It also increased rates of people brewing their own alcohol and smuggling it.
Yeah,
saying
like,
illegal. So this is like saying we
There are
shouldn't have
moonshiners
we shouldn't
everywhere,
have
You know,
borders.
people make crack,
we should
right?
allow
I mean,
you
like,
to bring
So-
drugs across the border because
people make crack.
still
You know that? They
smuggle
make
anyway.
their own crack. People do
So
that.
maybe we should ask the question: does it promote more illegal? In terms of, does it promote more illegal abortions?
It's gonna necessarily do that.
necessarily.
Because,
I mean,
like,
is
if-
it
let's
still
just say-
is it
hold on,
illegal
hold
to
on,
cross
hold
the
on.
border to get an
Right.
abortion? Because
Hold on a
then,
sec.
yeah, it would
If-
be.
let's just
yes,
assume in a
that would
hypothetical,
be
President
increases
Trump-
illegal abortions.
Let's say President Trump just said it's illegal to wear blue shoes. Effective tomorrow. Everybody tomorrow who wears blue shoes is now committing a crime. So necessarily it's going to increase the number of illegal shoe wearing in the United States. So if you make something illegal, you know, any time that, you know, that, so necessarily if you ban it, it's going to increase the illegal amount of abortions.
Yeah,
Because all of them would be illegal.
The
So
better question there, I agree with you, Steelborne. Like, just by making it illegal, you are going to increase illegal activity because the demand for abortion does not significantly decrease. So you would have to say, well, I guess, because I know SpeakeaZy's litmus is if one fewer person gets an abortion, then it is effective law. But my question would be, yeah, like if you're, again, comparing this to prohibition, when we saw massive increases in illegal crime, brewing, like mob activity, and the reason why it was deemed ultimately a failure, and then we repealed it because it was like, hey, this is not doing the thing we wanted to do, which is to get people to stop drinking. This is just making it a big fucking hassle to deal with all these criminals. In the same way, I would call that not effective. I would say these abortion laws would not be effective.
well,
but
there's a massive distinction here that you're not accounting
do you
for.
have a better like definition of what you would call an effective law? Like
Well,
what
just
you would
real
need to
quick.
see to call it effective?
Real quick, I want to get this cleared up. There's a massive distinction between the consumption of alcohol in the United States versus abortion. Alcohol has been part of United States culture literally since the founding of the nation. You know, like you should look up the bar tab of the founding
So,
fathers. It was
Steelborne,
ridiculous.
I hate to break it to you, but people have been getting abortions since people were able to get pregnant. Abortion is.
Yes,
is
but it
something
wasn't
that
part of the
people have been
cultural
doing
identity.
since the
Is it
the
part of the
cultural
cultural?
identity,
What is
it
the
was
cultural
something
identity
that
of
was-
America? That's
that
like,
was
oh,
You
I
ever
love
watched the beer
abortion.
commercials?
And
You ever seen all the
it was
American flags
legal.
and
It
eagles
was
and the
legal
hot
until,
chicks
like,
and
my
the buff
God, I think,
dudes?
like the early
Like-
1900s. It's fine. And I would
So
also
it
say
was
that
more-
drinking is actually not super American compared to many European countries. We are actually less about drinking. Like, my God, you could make the case that Germany is very much a country that's very pro drinking, especially Bavaria, you know. But America, drinking, it's not like super integral to our national identity. But it's something
Also,
that people
commercials
do.
didn't
It's something
exist in the
people's always done.
1920s because there wasn't TV.
No, I didn't,
Um,
I didn't say. I'm
yeah.
saying like now, even now,
Yeah.
alcohol is still a massive part of American culture.
Not really.
So
Again,
are you
we
saying
actually
because
drink
it's
a lot less
ingrained in
than
the
other
culture,
countries.
banning it is not effective and wouldn't make sense? You don't think that it has some analogy? I know it's not the same because you don't see abortion ads, but there's a huge number of people. There's a big demand for people who want access to be able to terminate a pregnancy up to a certain point. It seems like this doesn't go away just by making it illegal. What
Do you
do
think
is
more people would advocate for that? You know, they don't ban alcohol in the United States versus they don't ban abortion. Which one do you think more people in the United States would be prone to caring about, considering the fact that the overwhelming majority of the
probably
population
more
is blue
people
collar?
would be against banning alcohol than abortion. I would agree with that.
Right. So
But
that's
I would
why
also
it's
say that
much
the
more
majority of
significant in the cultural
Americans
zeitgeist.
are pro-abortion. The majority of Americans are pro-abortion.
So I think the
That's why
question
abortion
there
bans- I mean,
is,
abortion
so,
bans in Ohio failed.
for Steelborne, I think in terms of what he was trying to, if I can translate, abortion was more frowned upon prior, like it was dark, dirty, taboo, secret, like you didn't talk about it, you didn't brag about it. Whereas now in American culture, like there are women who actually do brag about having an abortion, or they celebrate it. Or things
was
to
a
that
cultural
nature, and
taboo,
it's more open now. It's not as taboo. We're not morality wise like drawing in that way.
I mean, to be honest, it wasn't even that big of a moral thing, depending upon the time period you're referring to.
What are you
It was just
talking
kind of
about? What do you
something
think
that
the witch
people would
trials
do.
were about?
We're
What
kind
do
of
you think
like
the what do you think the witches were actually burned at the stake for? They were performing abortions. That's what they were doing. That's why the
Yeah, but,
Catholic
like,
Church killed
This guy
them.
doesn't
this
believe
is
in
getting
witch
besides the point. Like, you can bring
You have
up
a
the
link for that?
alcohol
Hello?
prohibition. It significantly reduced drinking. You can
Actually,
bring up
it
all this
increased
other
binge
shit
drinking.
you want. All you're saying is criminals are
Prohibition
going to take
increased binge
advantage of the
drinking.
market.
I just want to point out how
That's all
ironic
you're
it is. Your
saying.
name is literally SpeakeaZy, and you just don't know anything about how prohibition was a total failure.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay. So
Also,
that was
I'm
a
not gonna lie,
great,
dude. I
great
think you have
argument,
some-
bro.
I know
Great
you have
argument.
like a tongue piercing, but it does make you slightly difficult to understand. So can you enunciate more because you're mumbling? I don't know.
Yeah,
if
you
could,
guys,
take it
you
out.
guys are so These are great arguments you guys have. Great
No, I'm
argument.
not arguing with you. I'm telling you that I'm literally having trouble.
Yeah, can you go put a fucking mask on since you're so fucking ugly? It bothers my eyes, please.
No one has ever
Oh my
said
God.
you
All
got a
right,
man's
reset,
jaw.
reset.
You got a man's jaw.
All right,
No
can we
one
talk
look like
about
a transgender woman?
children?
Can you put a
Okay,
mask
That's enough.
on, please?
Can we get back to, excuse me.
You heard that though, huh? You heard that though, huh?
All right, that's enough. That's enough. Let's get back to the actual conversation. It's fun, but let's get back to the discussion. I don't know if you want to go back to the data or in terms of the culture or the prohibition, whichever direction. Somebody, Steelborne, why don't you send something out?
Yeah, can I legally own a person in the United States?
No.
Is that because we banned slavery?
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Not for a while, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's
You got
what
me, dude.
Juneteenth is about. They had to, go in.
Yeah, so again, the point is not that all laws are ineffective. The point is that we've seen in places where they implement specifically laws for this specific thing, and this is the reason I brought up the breathing thing, which is absurd, right? Like, obviously, you would never be able to ban breathing, but if you were to ban breathing, almost no one would stop. Maybe some people would commit like ritual suicide to make it not happen. But the point is that if there's a high demand for something, obviously abortion demand is not as high as breathing demand, you're not able to stop it completely. If not, you're now forcing people to do it in illegal ways, and it's not effective in actually stopping it in the way that you want to.
Can't physically live without doing.
Real quick, Soy Pill, I just have a question. Do you think that if we
you understand
banned
this doesn't fit here, right?
Yeah, it is disanalogous, but I understand the point he's trying to make. If you banned abortion, do you
Steelborne.
think there would be 1.5 million illegal abortions in the United States if there was a federal ban?
I don't know the number of abortions off the top of my head. Isn't it like
1.5 million?
Isn't it more than that? I thought it was like 2 or 3 or something like that.
No, it's 1.5.
Everyone keeps telling me 2 million black babies died every year, so I don't know. But
That might be
yeah.
worldwide. I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's the case. No, I don't. Obviously, the number would go down, and that's why I asked SpeakeaZy.
Oh, so then then illegal abortions wouldn't. Then the number of abortions would most definitely go down.
By some margin, but the point is, what is effective in actually reducing it? Is it going down by 1? Is it going down by 10%?
Do I think that if
it
women
went down, look here, I'll say this: if
crimes,
abortions
totally cool with
decreased
that.
by 75% or 50%, I would say this is a pretty effective law. But the problem is, again, this is why we brought up these other countries. Like here, I'll read this quote from the Guttmacher Institute thing. So if you look at the aggregate of like abortions performed in countries where it's broadly illegal, there are between 36 and 47 annually per 1,000 women, ages 15 to 49, ages where they're pregnant. That's not like a cherry-picked age range. And and in the countries where it's prohibited altogether, it's about 31 and 51 abortions per 1,000 women. And it's like, okay, so when you ban completely abortion versus where it's got some sort of like broadly legal status, it's pretty similar, if not even more in certain cases.
Well, because there's a problem with that study, and here's the problem: is they're taking countries like Poland, which is basically effectively pretty much banned abortion, except for in the three what's the word I'm looking for here? 3 exceptions that the pro-lifers always try and offer. It's like, what if we made
Rape,
these exceptions?
incest, and,
like
those
3 exceptions. The problem is Poland. If you know anything about Europe, you can drive to another country faster than you can drive to another state in the U.S. I think Alaska pretty much just entirely encompasses all of Europe if you exclude Russia. So the problem is they say, well, it doesn't really lower the number. That's because people from Poland just drive to another country, which is 20 minutes down the road.
Okay, wait, hold on.
It's actually much easier to do that in a country like Europe than it is.
I'll concede this if you think this is a concession at all. It is that if every single if the world government had control of every single region on the entire planet, and they'd say, hey, we'll kill you if you perform or get an abortion, I think there would be a pretty effective drop there. But the problem is we live in a multifaceted world with many different rules. There's different states, there's different countries, there's different methods for people to do this. And I don't think you're going to see an effective drop-off of abortions unless there was some fascist crazy regime that was able to implement this literally worldwide, which I think you agree is impossible. And this is why in the same breath I say that banning all guns would be completely ineffective, because it breaks down to a states' right issue. At a certain point, you're going to have states that say, fuck no, we're not going to implement this at all. And you're going to have states like California that hop fully on board, but you're not going to see a significant drop in gun crime because you're going to have people traveling across state lines with guns. This is if you want to say if it was everywhere, yeah, probably that would be
just the United States. Let's start there.
If you had a nationwide ban, would you have an even more significant drop? I don't know what the drop would be if you banned it in every single state, but I think what you're still seeing now is that there's a lot of illegal abortions and there's a lot of people getting these pill ships. So it's even easier now to subvert that law altogether, I think what you're going to see is a lot of more people dying when they get these procedures, which I don't want to happen. But it would drop, I think, a more significant percentage if you were able to implement a nationwide ban.
Yeah, I think all pro-lifers would be totally okay with
bounce
the
back,
women who want to go
just
and
like
kill
we
their
saw
babies
with the
dying in
fertility
hospital.
rates. With the fertility rates, oh
You're
my God,
both
shut up.
talking.
With fertility rates in
Didn't bring up
red
fertility
states,
rates.
while there was shut the fuck up, while there was a mild increase, we then saw them go back to declining. So again, that is because the women of Texas adjusted their fertility behavior to either, use contraceptives more carefully, abstinence, or going out of state for abortions. So again, while there would probably be like a short-term immediate bump, or I guess reduction in abortion rates, American women would adjust their fertility behavior to, have access to abortions in some capacity.
And I'm saying that if it was banned federally, do you think there would be a whole bunch, there'd be even close to the number of legal abortions that we currently have as compared to the illegal that would be happening if it was federally banned?
You mean like with the legal number match? This illegal number matched the current legal number. I think you'd see pretty similar rates as per the study I read. Yeah.
Do you think you'd see
I think there would be a
1.5
good
million
drop off, by the
illegal
way.
abortions in the
Obviously,
United
like way more than the drop off in Texas. You would see a significant, especially because, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to make some inconsistent argument. I'm someone who says voter ID is a restrictive thing because if people don't have the ability to drive to their municipality because it's 3, 4, 5 hours away, maybe they don't have a car, it is going to be harder. And you would see a significant drop off of people in middle America who might not have access to any of these illegal methods, be it like, pills that are easily shipped into places with like bigger port cities, people who can travel over the border to Mexico or Canada, get an abortion, or like you said in Poland, there is going to be a bigger drop off the harder and harder and harder you make it. But the question is whether or not it's effective, because what is happening here and the ultimate through line and why I don't want to do this, even if you truly believe it's killing babies, is that unless you are super advocating for some sort of contraceptive to prevent these unintended pregnancies, the demand doesn't go down. And while you are going to get, some drop off in people having abortions, what is going to happen is a lot of people are going to have illegal and harmful abortions, which is just causing more problems than I think both of us don't want. And if you'll allow me to read this, we found that in countries where abortion is legal and available to women on request, 9 out of 10 abortions happen safely. But if you look at the countries where abortions are most restricted, then only 1 out of 4 of those happen safely. So 3 out of every 4 abortions are going to be like some horrible, awful thing that happened. And I don't know if the number is significantly dropping off to the point based on the rates of all these countries where it seems to not really restrict it that all that much, unless it was worldwide.
But that's never going to happen. So we should operate in reality. And the reality that we're dealing with now is one in the US where abortion is a matter of states' rights.
Like when you bring up that it doesn't change demand, right? That women will seek abortions regardless. Demands are obviously going to persist, but it's the supply that's constrained, and that's how you get the effective measurable outcome, right? That you bring up gun laws, you're right, you couldn't really make gun laws effective because the supply is what needs to be cut off, and cutting off the supply in a world of 3D printers and all this, it's next to impossible, right? But like anti-abortion laws that would stop you being able to ship pills through the mail, that we would have punishment for these things as well. These would be effective ways to stop abortion.
Again, like
you bringing up, well, women are going to correct their fertility behavior by using contraception. Cool.
It's also a lot easier to smuggle pills than it is
women not getting pregnant versus kids dying. I'll take the women not getting pregnant.
And it's a lot harder to prove if someone has used birth control or has used, like a medical abortion, which is using the pill. It's hard to prove that they did that. They would just have a miscarriage. So again, it would be super duper easy to smuggle.
Why is it hard to send drugs through the mail?
I don't think it's that hard to send drugs.
It's not that hard.
You don't think it's that hard?
No,
especially, I would say, especially like a pill that's not like marijuana that dogs are, taught to sniff out. It would be very. I would find that to be very difficult.
Literally everyone's mail.
No, because you would have a system that stops pills from being sent through the mail, to citizens.
You just shut down the company.
It's not.
Well, realistically speaking, hold on. Let's have some clarification here, because you can get prescriptions via mail. I know Amazon even is doing it now. But there's a lot of pharmaceuticals where you can get it via USPS or even delivered to you, door-to-door services, so on and so forth. So I don't know if that would be a realistic approach, saying like just shut all of it down.
To be fair, if SpeakeaZy has developed a magic abortion pill detector, my dad is a patent lawyer, and I would like to hear about it.
Yeah, I bet you would.
You can also buy like health products from
like
other
you make
countries
it like it
that
would be
are,
hard
that are,
to
like, shipped
X-ray
over to
the
you.
mail
again,
to
it
see
wouldn't
what's
be
inside
that hard
of it.
to ship some shit over.
Wait,
like,
wait,
it,
no,
it really
wait,
would
Charlie,
not
I do
be-
wanna
It's
hear-
legal.
Busted
Hold
in the
on,
mail
hold on, hold
all
on.
the time. Like you can't even send
I
certain
flew with
liquids
pills.
through
I
the mail. Like
flew
you
with
guys,
pills and
this is
shipped
just
pills to the UK when I lived there, and I shipped
acting
them
like the
back and
mail
forth, and
can't
I
be
flew with them, and
monitored
it was
is
fine.
ridiculous.
It
No,
was
it's
super duper
SpeakeaZy.
fine.
What we're saying is, unless you ban all pills, which is, I assume, not what your solution is, an X-raying and determining whether or not this pill is an abortion pill or a Tums or a Febreze or what's the airborne or whatever. Like, could you explain like exactly how we're detecting whether or not this is was it mifepristone or what is it actually called?
Oh, I
How
can't
do they
remember. It does
determine
start with an
if they have a suspicion about something illegal in the mail? How do they determine if it is that said thing?
Well, first, how did they have
Soy
the
Pill,
suspicion
answer
in
the
first place?
question. Don't
Well,
ask
we
me a
have to take
question.
step
Answer
back.
it.
How did they know? How did they have the suspicion?
They scanned it and something looks off.
What looks off about it?
See, you don't want to answer the question.
No,
Are you
I'm
gonna
just
do
curious how they
anything to
detected.
avoid
Where did the
fucking
suspicion
question?
come from?
You avoid questions like you avoid
No, I'll get to
laundry.
the question.
wearing
You
that
just have
same
to.
shit
I want to
for
make
the
sure
last
we're on the
6
same
fucking months.
hypothetical. Like we actually get
Holy
into the hypothetical,
fuck,
right?
dude.
Like, how did they have the suspicion? Because I think
Yeah,
you're kind
like,
of
what are they
letting that carry all the
suspecting?
weight of your hypothetical.
They'd have to get a warrant, right, to go through mail.
Well, you would have to have reasonable suspicion too, or
Yeah.
I mean, even check marking if it's liquids, this, that, or another, batteries, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But again, pharmaceuticals are shipped left, right, center all day, every day, and that would be a very hard thing. I mean, I could literally slip any type of pills into an envelope right now,
My
and
friend
unless
had a burrito
there's
once, so you just slip it in there.
Well, those pills are being manufactured by a drug company, right?
Not necessarily, and that was actually the point I was going to get to, is that you
This
say,
is
well, once we
crazy.
made it
So,
illegal,
like, just to be
that we're-
clear,
well, hold on.
you think the mailing service would have a suspicion of a bomb, and they would say, "Wait, let's get a warrant before we make sure." Are you guys actually fucking insane? What are you talking about?
Oh, wait, okay, so
I mean, a
they
suspicion of a bomb
wouldn't
is
need
different.
to be clear,
It's not
SpeakeaZy,
a
they
bomb.
detected bomb residue on this pill envelope,
of
and that's
something
why they opened
illegal
it up.
in
Is
there. Are
that
you
how they
guys
identified whether or not it was an
What the fuck are
abortion
we
pill?
talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a bigger. I think they have other detections, right, to go through like liquids,
bombs.
bombs, and even at that, like
How
pills,
do they
like
train
even
dogs
if
to
you,
sniff cocaine? To find that, how do they do that?
Well,
How do they
cocaine
train
has
them
a
too? Because they
distinct scent,
specifically
I'm
are like
certain, but
sniffing
like
out cocaine. I don't think
I
abortion
know.
pills
Couldn't you
sniff out
do the
really have
exact same thing
distinct.
for the abortion pills? Like,
no, I
what
don't
the
think
name of it?
mifepristone
have
has
a
a chemical that
distinct
dogs can
scent, yeah.
distinguish from any other thing that is going to be mailed. That's kind of the point. And again, this is not going to be like the mifepristone factory in America or even like in another country where it's illegal to manufacture. What you'll see is like when people understand basic chemistry, they're able to manufacture these things in the same way. Like, hey, some doctors right now are facing 99-year life sentences for performing abortion. And in the past, when abortion was still very restricted, there were very, very, very heavy punishments on these doctors. And yet you say, oh, the supply, if we eliminate it, it doesn't matter what happens to demand. Well, the supply doesn't go away either. There's plenty of people, more than half the country, that are okay with abortions and are okay with doing it illegally and performing it for these women because they think this is okay and I'm not okay with it getting banned. And so the supply doesn't really go away nearly as much in an effective manner just by banning it. That's kind of.
Do you think that there are plenty of doctors who think
where everyone was turning, everyone
hold
was
on, I
looking
can't
the
hear
other
any
way.
of. I can't hear any of you.
When prohibition
question
was
for
in
Soy Pill.
place, the majority of officials were looking away because they wanted to drink too. Like, this is not like abortion is so popular and so commonplace. Like, this would be like banning.
I know it's so
ibuprofen.
popular. It's just why it got
people would be
overturned
like, what the
federally.
fuck?
You'd be like banning ibuprofen. You're insane.
It would be.
It would be as difficult as banning ibuprofen.
It would be as difficult as banning ibuprofen. Like, I hate to break it to you guys, but a lot of those dudes, a lot of those politicians that pay all this lip service to being like, oh, I hate abortion, their mistresses and their daughters are getting abortions, dude.
Yeah, nice liberal
talk.
Like, it's the idiot minority. It's the idiot minority that thinks that it's like a popular position to hate abortion, that people don't seek them out even if they claim to hate it. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Steelborne, you had a question?
Yeah, I did. Soy Pill, do you think that there are certain doctors that are okay with assisted suicide and that they would be morally they would feel morally justified in helping their patients with that?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Do you think there's a lot of doctors who don't do that because if they got caught, they'd go to prison for murder?
I think the argument would be whether or not there's an effective number of doctors that are prevented from doing this by making it illegal. And I don't know. I haven't looked into the stats on that at all.
I'm just asking, probably, just based on your intuition, do you think that if they knew for a fact that if they were to get caught, they would go to prison?
I think there'd be significantly more than the abortion law because it's a lot harder to hide that you did an abortion, or easier to hide that you did an abortion than it is to kill a person and then hide the body. Yeah.
Right. Like, what the fuck? Like, how easy do you guys think it is to kill someone and hide a body? An abortion,
hide a body. Do you not know what assisted
medical
suicide
abortions are? You cannot trace that shit. You just show up and you say that you had a miscarriage, and that's that. Like, again, it's very different. I don't know if you guys know how big a fucking
abortion
fetus
the doctor's
is.
not going to pull out because you had a miscarriage.
What?
I said they're in an early, especially if it's an early term, there are medical tools for a surgical abortion that the doctor's gonna have to pull out, and they're gonna have to like write all that down in their report that they had to pull all these special tools out to perform the surgery.
Early
they
term
wouldn't
abortions
write in the
are
report
not
that they did an illegal
I said
abortion.
there are, well, there are, and depending on how early we're talking about.
Okay, can we all stop talking over each other? It really is very scattery in the headset. So I know if I can't understand what you're saying, the audience can't either, and it's just all chiming together. I'm sure you all have great points, and I'd love to hear them, and I'm sure the audience would too, but you have to take your turns. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, how early are we talking for when do you think a surgical abortion begins?
Typically around like 3 months is when I think let me double check, but I think the long like as far along as you can have medical abortions is something like 3 months.
What do you mean when you say medical abortion? I'm just trying to understand what
medical abortion. Are you having this argument without knowing the difference between?
No, I was saying I'm talking about surgical, and then you said medical. I want to understand.
Yeah, medical is about the pill. And a medical abortion is the pill abortion.
Okay.
Surgical is when you go into the cooter.
Yeah, they have to do that as soon as the spine's formed, right?
No, it's about up to 10 to 11 weeks, so about 2 months. Again, which is when
do most women find out that they're pregnant? I'm sorry, what was that
abortions
number?
are occurring. Most people who are far along enough to have a surgical abortion actually want the kid that they're trying to have, and so again,
when do most people find out that they're pregnant
in the modern era? Usually within the month, but it's pretty quick to get an abortion. Depending on where you live. I guess if you live in a rural area, it can be more difficult, but you can get one fairly quickly.
Remember, I always hear from you progressives is that people don't find out that they're pregnant until like 8 to 12 weeks. Usually, that's when they don't find out because they just think they missed their period.
That's not.
Okay. Well,
I
neither of us
promise you,
are saying that.
people
That's why I was
figure out
asking what your
usually
position
a
is.
lot earlier. It's not 8 to 12 because I promise you that the things happening to your body would.
When can they confirm that they're pregnant?
Extremely obvious. The earliest you can confirm that you're pregnant that I know of is like 2 weeks. However, wait. That would be because 2 weeks. They start dating it based on when your last period was supposed to start, essentially. And then it's 2 weeks after that.
You can take a pregnancy test, but those have
no pregnancy tests won't detect that early. You would have to go get a blood test.
Typically, as early as missing your first period, you can go piss on a stick, and essentially, if it's like the first day of your missed period and you haven't had it, you should be capable of pissing on a stick and it's showing up as positive. Usually, it depends on the hormones. I think it's HCG.
For HCG, it depends on your HCG level. But they can't
yes.
actually confirm that you're pregnant until about 8 weeks when they can do an ultrasound.
No, they can do a blood test.
They can
do a blood test, true, but that just
confirm a
confirms
blood test.
HCG levels. That's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yeah,
and then
the
you can
assumption
still
being that
Same thing
you're
the pregnancy
probably
test does,
pregnant.
just monitors HCG levels.
you can still receive an abortion.
I'm aware that you can receive an abortion, but considering the fact that most people can't confirm that they're pregnant until about 8 weeks, all they can confirm is that they're producing HCG, which can be caused by a bunch of different things.
I would say that that's
the point
inaccurate.
is most people aren't waiting to get abortions until after the ultrasound.
I think I know some states vary, and just maybe for clarification purposes of the conversation, like Maryland here, before you get an abortion, you have to have an ultrasound. They actually put you through this whole procedure to promote pro-life in aspect. So you have to see the sonogram, you have to see the baby, you have to hear the heartbeat, and then they provide you with all of these different options besides just getting an abortion. So like some states have different requirements, if that helps.
Okay, someone just linked me some CDC information, but let me see. It's
Are you pulling up stats from your chat during the debate?
Why not?
Someone linked me a CDC report on when abortions take place.
That's great.
Isn't
I'm
that-
arguing with you guys, not ChatGPT, not the CD, or not whatever your chats are saying. I'm not arguing with your chat. I'm arguing with you. That's the fucking
Well, I
bad
think
face
it's
shit
good
I've
to
ever
get.
heard ever.
If someone
What's wrong
sends
with you
me
people?
statistics, I think that that's fine.
I'd read
If
your
someone
study if you
shows
show
me,
me at Stillborne. I mean,
I don't
I'm happy
like.
to
I don't
provide
know.
a study.
Isn't
but
it better
only
for us
upon
to like
request.
have
I'm not-
like
somebody send me this here. Let me pull it up for you. That way, you're not just arguing with me. You're arguing with all the people in the chat as well.
It's just
okay,
a
well, I
fact.
don't
It's
know
not
what
an
you want me
argument.
to say, man. Like, I don't. Soy Pill and I are both streamers. People are gonna link shit and talk to us throughout the debate. Like, if you do stream, that does kind of happen. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I'm aware of how that works. That doesn't mean you
Yeah,
have to
but you also had the
I
will.
mean, do you want me to
choose
type it into
use it, that's
Google?
all.
Do you want me to type it into
Just
Google?
admit you need help and move
I
on.
think
Yeah,
it's.
seriously,
I think
like,
it's.
you're just
Hold
getting outside
on,
help.
hold
That's
on,
bullshit.
hold on, children.
No,
Now,
they
come
are
on. I
trying
think
to-
Charlie. I think it's just deemed as bad faith. I know some other people, not necessarily here, but other big debaters have utilized stuff that their chat provides to them, and a lot of people call that out as bad faith. I am not. I'm kind of impartial to it, whether in either direction. But I think the notion is you should be getting those studies in advance and pulling all of this data in advance for these types
to be
of
clear,
things.
Sarah, he had asked
Yeah,
about
like,
when the
prepare your
majority of
arguments
abortions
instead of
happen, and
depending
then
on
her
your
chat
chat.
had
and
to
we
link
didn't
something
know,
that she had already
so-
been Googling. This wasn't like, oh, I didn't know have an argument for that, but now I found one because it was in my chat.
That's
This was-
literally
Yeah,
If it
what
was a
just
case of
happened.
I don't know,
We
I
have-
can look it up. That's
We
different.
have
than
the
saying, only my
we
chat
have
sent
the
me something.
internet. We have the. I don't understand. We have access
You're
to
not
all
when
this
you're arguing
knowledge.
with me. You're
Why
not
would
arguing
we
with Google.
argue
You're not
about
arguing with
vibes?
ChatGPT.
when
Why
we
don't you
literally
fucking
just-
use that
You
access
just
to
linked
get
the
it
thing that
yourself?
you asked because you didn't have the stat yourself.
Like, I don't
It's-
understand,
Wow,
man.
man.
We can just, if we have a question, we can just look it up.
The thing is, this point you've been making for the last like 20 minutes has no fucking bearing and no weight for your side of the argument. So I don't know even why you've been making these arguments.
Well, he asked a question.
Do you
I
even
wanted to
remember the
answer.
prompt of the debate, Mrs. I'm too smart for everybody? What's the
To be fair,
prompt?
she just called you
obviously, it's
stupid,
at the
which is
top,
much
dude.
more clear than how smart she is. So,
Yeah, she
Yeah.
said you guys can't comprehend this.
which
But
you have
I'm
demonstrated.
glad you're
once and
listening,
again
Soy
that you
Pill.
have not.
I'm glad you're
not
listening, buddy.
understood.
All right.
Well, I can still
Glad you're
say-
listening.
Yeah.
Watch
Soy,
that
why
shit
don't you
as
throw
well.
out?
How about you,
Pardon me, Soy. Why don't you throw out another thought for us, please, so we can move on.
A whole different thought. I don't know. I mean, they
Or
still haven't really
something.
contended with our whole point, which is it seems like this demand isn't going away and the supply isn't going down significantly. But it's really hard to have the argument if you're not going to give a criteria for what is an effective decrease in abortions. I mean, again, I would concede that if you were able to completely eliminate abortion somehow with these like draconian laws across the entire United States, which I think can realistically say won't happen, but you were able to reduce abortions by 50%, I would call that effective. Now, I don't think that's what's going to happen because one, there aren't going to be these like federal bans, and two, even if they are happening, a bunch of these states are not going to comply. So you have to contend with the fact that in doing these abortion bans, like Texas is doing, you're not actually getting the outcome that you want. And if they were to come on board and say, look, I think we should do a federal abortion ban and unlimited access to like birth control and contraception, I think that actually would work and that would be an effective thing. But the caveat there being that you wouldn't necessarily have to tie the access to contraception to that. What I think that is what the stats bear out.
Here, you keep saying I don't know what an effective means. Okay, I'll try this again. Right, it's a restriction on the abortion that produces a measurable decline in the numbers of abortions performed within that jurisdiction. All right, compared with the level of abortions performed before said restriction. Okay, so all this other shit you're bringing up doesn't fucking matter. We're talking about what happens when you ban it. You can say, oh, they're going to go to another country. You think everybody's rich enough to go to another country? What are you talking about?
So again, if you're saying what's the effective number that's decreasing, And if your
I
answer
didn't give
is
you a fucking
any
number.
measurable number,
In 1 year, out the
then
other, bro. Do your little hat, bro. Flick it. It'll
So
help your
again,
brain work.
if your metric for effective is literally any number is decreasing, I think that's incredibly conservative to say, well, if it goes down by 1, then it's effective. And if you look again, prohibition, reducing the number of people that drank, yeah, of course. But would anyone argue this was effective? No, because clearly that's the reason they repealed it. It did not have the intended effect of reducing alcohol consumption. So
All right,
my
I'll just
question to
grant
you
all
is,
this. I have a question for you real quick.
Sure.
Let's just say that we banned it federally, right? And there was like 500,000 illegal abortions. Is that effective now?
If it reduced it by 66%, I would say that's effective. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not what's happened at all.
But yeah.
Well, how would we know? You haven't
not
federally
happening
banned
in the
abortion
US.
in the United States. It's
Well,
not the same as Europe, where the country is the size of a state.
We're arguing about America right now, and we're talking about what has happened in our
and it was
in our country.
22,000 more live births than expected.
Okay, and
So go
those
ahead,
rates
account
are
for that
going
one.
to go
Tell me
down as
where
they
those babies
continue
come
to go down. As they continue to go down now. So while there was a little bump in the beginning when abortion was banned in specific states, that fertility rate is still going down.
I'm not arguing fertility rate. I'm just saying there
again,
were more
22,000
babies
live births this year. Next year, less.
The more babies born,
It goes
you're
down
attributing that entirely to the
nationally. That's
abortion
not the
rate, and she's
same
talking about how the
thing.
birth
It doesn't
rate
go
is actually
down
No,
in
it
said
did. So if
states.
you looked at any of the links that I linked in the beginning, you would see that yes, in states with abortion bans, while there was a mild uptick after the bans were put in place, they did start to decline.
It's national rate.
The year after. No,
it's
states with bans. If you look at the University of Houston study, Texas had a couple of percentages of fertility increase, and then the next year it started to go down. So again, this is where we're at. They
we
go
would agree
down.
that there's other factors other than just the limiting of abortion that would.
Of course,
contribute to
yeah,
the
for
birth
sure.
rate.
But again,
Right,
it doesn't.
You
seem,
can't keep bringing out the 22,000 number and be like, well, that's the abortion thing. And then clearly when we look at the studies of directly controlling for these abortion laws and showing, hey, this is not the thing that is causing, births to go skyrocket. It's kind of
I'm not even saying it's
why
causing
she's
births
bringing
to
it
skyrocket.
up.
I'm not saying my claim isn't that it's causing births to skyrocket. It's that there's 22,000 babies now that were born because they weren't aborted in the states that had
you don't
abortion.
actually know that though.
Well,
I
thought you just said there are other effects. Like, what do you mean?
You
They
don't
tracked
know
the
if
states
it's
that
because of
banned it.
abortion. You can't hold us to that standard with you don't know if it was blah 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 blah. If it was related to abortion. And
they
then
tracked the 14 states that banned it in the United States, and there was 22,000
yes,
more live births than
and
they
now
anticipated.
those fertility rates are declining. So,
That's great.
So what
that doesn't
about
mean
it?
that those babies are being aborted. What the fuck's wrong with you? That does not logically follow.
Stillborn, you got to
But that
understand.
also
You would
doesn't
have to
mean that
establish.
because of the abortion
Charlie,
ban
wait,
that
give
those
me-
kids
give
were
me a sec,
born.
Charlie.
If we want to play stupid games.
No, Steelborn, you would have to establish that these people have births that said, I would have aborted my baby, but because it was illegal, I did not, and that is why there is a baby now. That is the only way that this stat at all is supporting your argument.
Are there any surveys out there showing this by chance? Did anybody pull anything like that?
No, all we have are the stats on fertility rates in Texas and California in 2022, 2023. So again, in Texas, we see the rates go up a little bit in 2022, and then they also start to decline. Not at the same rate as California, but they're declining. We also have the stats on, again, abortions in states bordering states with abortion bans. Those rates went up, which obviously we can assume that some of that was because of, bans in surrounding states. So people leaving the state to get abortions. And then we do, know that abortion bans in countries with complete abortion bans don't actually lead to less abortions, just unsafe abortions.
The fertility rate was higher than expected in the 14 states with abortion bans for the following groups: racial minorities, including non-Hispanic, Black, Hispanic, other races and ethnicities, about 2% higher than expected. Unmarried individuals, 1.8% higher than expected. Younger individuals, aged under 35, 2% higher than expected. Medicaid beneficiaries, 2%.
Is this all the immediate after the ban? Because if so, this is exactly what she was talking about.
No, this was
this is the study she sent. Why don't you just shut up for a second?
No, this isn't the study that I sent.
Well, it actually says the
Okay,
same
let's
thing in the study you
let's
sent.
just let Stillborn finish. Nobody let him finish.
Okay, well, I would like to go after him.
Yeah. Additionally, the impact in southern states was approximately 2 times higher than non-southern states. Quote from Dr. Suzanne Bell, PhD, from the Bloomberg School's Department of Population: These findings indicate that many pregnant people were unable to overcome barriers to access abortion services. Seems like they didn't get fucking abortions and then they had babies. Isn't that crazy?
So since 2022 and post-ops, fertility rates in banned states declined 2% versus 3% in ban-free states. Post-ops, the public seems to have adjusted its fertility behavior in recognition of the transformed scene. Adjustments include multiple factors. Many women in banned states access abortion in other states or through self-managed abortions at home.
Is the prompt that banning abortion will increase fertility rate, or is it that the abortions will go down, which is what we're arguing?
Well, the abortions did minimally go down, but now they're, continuing to go up in surrounding states. So again, this would indicate that women are leaving the state to have abortions.
Not
These
abortions
in
in the United States.
People were unable to overcome
not in the
barriers to
states
access
with the
abortion.
ban. Your original argument, it was with the
in
state with the
2022,
ban.
absolutely, for
Yeah.
sure. But
Backpedal now, though.
Initially said that. And then I said in 2023, the fertility rates declined, indicating that based on the study that I linked by the University of Houston, women were leaving the state to get abortions.
That doesn't logically follow
This is
because the
in
fertility
the
rate went
study.
down. They were going to get abortions. That does not logically follow.
That the fertility, okay, so if there's less children being born, we can determine that people are either not having sex or they are getting abortions or they're using contraception. And this study does indicate that, people leaving the state to get abortions was a part of that, loss of fertility.
We're not even arguing that that's not even part of the case. But you're just asserting that that's the entirety of what happened. Is that the only reason the fertility rate went down is because people went to other states.
No, that's
rather
not
than
not at all
babies.
what I said at all. If you had listened to the words out of my mouth.
All right.
You read this out loud, and I'll read it out loud for you one more time. So adjustments. So this is the things that the people in the study looked at. Adjustments include multiple factors. Many women in banned states accessed abortions in other states or through self-managed abortions at home. Greater vigilance around contraception. Increases in permanent contraception through tubal litigation of vasectomy, refraining from sex, moving out of banned states to avoid these issues. Some who would like to be pregnant are choosing not to due to the fear that if they have complications, doctors will not be able to render aid. So there's all these different factors that are into it that are considered by that study. It's not just, it's the fertility rate and we're basing it entirely off the fertility rate. They looked at all of these things. That's the point.
Right, which is what I said.
Yeah, so
I know,
you're
I'm
saying
just
that
repeating it for
they
him.
either got contraceptions or they just stopped having sex. So they did other things rather than killing babies.
Well, to be clear,
so
one
they
of those
changed their
factors
behavior
was
because abortion was banned?
self-managed abortions.
I think the fact that it changes their behavior should show you it's effective.
Also stillborn, not all of the extra babies born were born because those women could not get abortion. How many of those babies can you determine were born because those women could not access abortion? Can you prove that? Because otherwise we are kind of in
how
the
do you
same
determine at-home abortions were done? How do you determine that? They just
surveys
said it?
and studies.
They just told you?
They just said it?
Oh, so it could be a bunch of lying bitches on there to fuck their study up. Good.
Well, I guess these, like, people that dedicate their life to making this data did not consider the lying bitch phenomenon.
You can use self-reporting studies, and we're using the math. In the state that the ban happened, abortion went down.
Texas,
right? The math
with an
speakeasy.
abortion
Did you
ban?
consider that
So,
those scientists could be lying bitches? Did you consider that?
I guess you know what?
Did I
Maybe
say
I
the
didn't consider
scientists,
that
you
they could
moron?
be.
Maybe, I don't know.
lying
How do
bitches.
we know? How can we believe
Self-reported.
these scientists?
I never considered that
up?
women are naturally inclined to
Okay.
lie because they are devious whores, and that's why Eve ate the apple. Never
Way to just
considered
straw man every part of the position, or it was the fact that there are many
every
feminists
time
who
you
would
guys
most
get
definitely
quoted
lie
on
about getting
those are,
abortions
you
to
never
make numbers
considered
go
that
up. You
those
don't
are
think that's
lying
possible?
bitches. You never considered that those are lying bitches.
You're
Like, what do you
using
want me to say
self-reported
to
studies
Like,
that
that's
said
so
the women told them that they had a self-abortion at home.
Yeah, okay, and
Hey,
so
right,
the,
and so
the
you're
ladies,
yeah,
the
and
ladies
this
lying
is
that
we're supposed to be like,
doctor,
yeah,
they
that's
have
actually
en masse. All these women got together in their little back alley
You're
witch
just
meetings and
punching
said,
themselves
"Let's all
right in the
lie
stomach
about our
because they
abortions."
can't get an abortion. Right?
All right,
And
next.
also say
Let's move it. Let's
Are you
move
kidding? This Charlie person here, if she got this survey given to her, she would lie and say she did 7 of them at home just to keep abortion on the line.
I really want to see your
What
hairline.
are you talking about?
Can you take off the hat? I want to see the hairline.
Dude's got a ponytail.
My hairline matches yours, and my hair is better than yours too. I wouldn't do that.
Okay, take it off.
Just
then,
sit
princess.
yourself down,
Go
yeah,
on,
with your
Rapunzel.
little fucking
Take off the hat.
man
Take it
jaw
off.
over there.
Only if Soy Pill takes off the hat.
I'll take
Soy
off the
Pill
hat
has hair.
after SpeakeaZy takes off the hat. I promise.
Yeah.
Listen, this
He's
flirting
not
you're
gonna
doing,
do it. He's not
not
gonna
interested. All right,
Ooh, ooh.
not interested. I'm married, Charlie. Sorry.
Balding,
Quit this flirting
and no
shit.
jawline.
Ain't
Holy
interested.
fuck, dude.
Balding fallacy, not an argument.
Miserable.
Okay, all right. Who's got another point to make, please?
I'd love to hear them contest my prohibition point. Like I think that was a pretty interesting one.
I don't think that the prohibition was necessarily effective. I think that it was effective in getting a lot of the law-abiding citizens to stop drinking. That's true, but you also just basically funded a bunch of organized crime through the mob and the mafia.
Okay, but
Like,
why would
that
you
is
say,
the
why would
case.
you
I
say you
agree.
wouldn't see a similar phenomenon? Is it literally just because more people want alcohol? Like, would you not see at least some scale representation?
Yeah, I
of
think that it
illegal
actually.
abortions
No, I
like
don't
this?
think it would be the same, and here's why. Not only that, Christians have no moral problems with alcohol whatsoever.
Oh, that's not accurate at all. There are.
What was the
certainly
first miracle
Christians
Jesus
that
performed,
do-
lady? I just want you to answer that real quick.
do
What was the
have
first miracle
issue
Jesus
with
performed,
alcohol.
Charlie?
Mormons, for one, I believe.
I don't think they're Christians, anyways.
Well, that's a no true Scotsman fallacy.
No, it's not a
Like,
no true Scotsman fallacy. I have specific criteria for who is and is not a Christian.
Okay, well then that's silly.
No, it's not.
It is.
No,
say.
there
I mean,
there are very
Look, that
specific.
Christian MAGA
I'll
guy rammed
demonstrate
his
this.
truck into that Latter-day Saints church and shot a bunch of them. Clearly, they don't
That was
see
a
each
real
other as
Christian.
the same. To be fair,
I'll
That was
demonstrate
a
this
real
real quick.
Christian.
I'll demonstrate this real quick, Charlie.
In the Mormon
Hey,
church.
I don't believe Jesus Christ ever
See, that first
existed,
thing
and I
you
like
do,
to
go to
curse off
laughing
babies
about
for
people
fun. Am I a
dying.
Christian?
That's the left for you.
You don't
Clown
believe
show.
Jesus Christ ever existed?
That's why you wear the
Answer
clown
the
hat.
question.
Oh,
I
it-
don't believe
it
he ever
suits you,
existed,
buddy.
and I like to curb stomp babies. Am I still a Christian?
I feel like believing in Jesus is like kind of the point of.
Oh, so there are criteria to who is or is not a Christian. It's not
Yeah,
just whoever
man,
fucking
and
says
it's
it.
that, and it's that.
Wait,
It's
the Mormons,
That's
the
the only
Mormons
one.
not
You just have
believe
to
in
believe he
Jesus and want to
existed.
curb
You just
stomp
believe that.
babies.
Yeah, a bunch of atheists believe he
Mormons
existed.
do believe in Jesus, man. Like,
All
I
right,
don't
so do a
know.
bunch of atheists.
we
They also
are
believe he
so far off track. Bring it back around, please.
Yeah, the first miracle Christ ever performed was making wine for a celebration at a wedding. Christians do not find alcohol to be immoral.
Didn't
I mean, it
is
depends
it
on
true?
the
I'd have
Considering
to
the
look
fact
this
that the
up, and I don't know if
overwhelming
the
majority of
Seventh-day
Adventists
Adventists are
at
also
that time
opposed to
was
alcohol
Christian.
as well. So Mormons, Seventh-day
Steelborne, did
Adventists.
Christians not actually like drive prohibition? Like they were like the Puritan people? Like
No,
isn't
it was
like, kind of
women.
a-
It was the women's temperance movement that drives
Christian
prohibition.
Yeah, it was women.
What does all this matter to the debate prompt?
I actually agree. I don't think that whether or not religious people would reject or alcohol or not has anything to do with whether or not you would see a similar phenomenon of prohibition if you were to ban abortion nationwide. So
Is the majority of the United States religious?
yeah,
I don't know,
excuse me. Pietistic Protestants
You
were
would
the
see
ones who led prohibition.
cartels start taking over abortions. Is that
So,
what
like,
you
what
said?
about Catholics and like
If
Catholic
we
and
had
Orthodox
if
Christians?
we had a
or
nationwide
Muslims?
ban on abortions, we would have SpeakeaZy abortions. Is that what you think?
I mean, literally, this is what
You're a
happened.
moron,
This is
dude.
literally what happened when abortion was more of a more illegal in places. You would have doctors doing.
Oh yeah, why didn't it happen
speakeasy
before
abortions.
abortion was available? Why
It-
didn't it
it
happen
did.
before
It
abortion
literally
was
did.
available?
There's like tons of
Oh
accounts.
yeah,
of
there
this
was this
happening.
great
There's also-
epidemic of
there's
people aborting their
historical-
children before
Yes.
abortion.
Yes,
You're an
Yes,
idiot.
there was. And
This is
even
happening
before,
all the
like,
time.
that,
Yes.
those
You know, we
doctors,
did those
midwives
awful
were doing it.
things.
It
We
was
took
the,
those women who were
what
killing
is
babies
mugwort? The
and we
mugwort
burned them at the
plant
stake.
is
We're
frequently
horrible
used
people. I
as an
know.
abortificant. So there's been like traditions around the world. People have been
Pointing out
receiving
he's
abortion.
like the
Abortion also
minuscule
wasn't always
against the
illegal
majority.
You know, there's
doesn't-
African
So I think
tribes that
before
just
the
leave babies out for
1900s
lions at night. Did you know that one?
Yeah, I
happens
do know
too?
that.
Is that
so
bad?
before the
Do they do that or no?
1400s,
Should Christians go in and tell the Africans they shouldn't leave their babies out for lions?
man, I don't know. That's above my pay grade. Anyway, I do think that
Christians shouldn't stop Africans from leaving their babies out for lions.
I do.
Wow, this is
Again,
fucking crazy.
abortion wasn't illegal in the U.S. Let me double check because abortion was legal up until like 4 months. I'm pretty sure. If you
No,
were
not national.
I think that was
It was
state.
thing. That was a state's jurisdiction thing. It was banned in most of the United States.
Ask
No,
your
this
chat;
was
they
like-
might be able to tell you.
I mean, yeah, they could actually tell me things. SpeakeaZy, I'm sorry if you're not a streamer or you don't have enough of a chat to like send you
Yeah,
some
I'm
links.
definitely not a streamer. No chat over here. You're right.
I
And
don't
this
know who
has
you are.
what to do with what I said?
Hello to
Well,
SpeakeaZy's non-chat. Hi,
You're
guys.
pissy about it.
I'm definitely so pissed. You got me right, Chuck.
I won't take the hat off. I mean, she kind of clocked you
Yeah,
there.
I
I'm
kind
pretty
of got
upset
you,
about that.
man. I got you.
I think I have a
Yeah.
thumbnail with you, not with a hat on, though.
Can you paste it in the bottom right here, sir?
You
The
can go
picture speaks with no hat
back.
on.
I'm pretty sure it's. I don't know if I might have had to remove that one,
I mean,
but it
I
would
can
still
make
be
my
over
audience
on
see it, but I
Rumble.
want everyone to see it. You know?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive. The last thumbnail, what you did the one-on-one with Mel, and it was there was no hat on that picture. I remember because I pulled it from your, I think, Instagram or something. Yeah,
Can you-
just go look at his
can you confirm
Insta.
the hairline?
I do have a question for Charlie. Charlie,
He had
do you think
he
that
had the rose, I think. Sorry,
Charlie,
go ahead.
sorry.
Get us back on point.
Charlie, do you think that if if there was a federal ban on, let's just say, handguns in the United States, that the number of people who owned handguns would necessarily go down?
I'm not sure, because I do think that there's like already a lot of guns in the US circulating. And I do think that, like you said, 3D printers. And also I think that black markets selling guns would crop up everywhere. So again, I think that you would have to get rid of all the handguns in the US, and that would be extremely difficult. Because
Well, do you think like law-abiding citizens would get rid of them at least?
No.
I don't think that there's
I know
such
a lot of
thing as
law-abiding
perfectly
citizens who would not
law-abiding
follow the
citizen.
law.
I mean,
Well, then
most
you have
of
to
us
account for
speak,
Australia
most of
at
us
that point.
jaywalk.
Or England. Any of these countries that have banned firearms, and then nobody has almost
When
nobody has firearms.
when did they ban them? Because the U.S. I think is unique in the fact that we have more firearms than people. Is that
Yeah, we have
correct?
like 1.5 firearms per person.
Yeah, we have a lot of guns, man. That's a lot of guns. I think it
Hell
would
yeah.
be very difficult to get rid of them completely and totally. So maybe in like 20 years, the amount of handguns would decrease. But
Okay.
I think it would be exceptionally difficult to,
Let's just say it's 20 years, and then like let's just say like 90% of the handguns are gone at that point. By 20 years time, was that law effective?
I mean, if that happened, sure.
So do you think that if we
Yes,
if we
that
federally
would be an
banned
effective
abortion
law.
and then we started societally shaming women who go and get abortions and go like, show my abortion, wear the pink hats and everything like that. We shamed those people for being
Well,
gross
you'd have to get
degenerates and
everyone
telling
on
them
board
they
with
shouldn't be
that.
killing their children. Do you think that over the course of maybe 20 years, the number of abortions would decrease?
Well, yeah, Steelborne, I agree with this, but you understand that you saying that the shaming is doing so much of the weight carrying here, where it's like, yes, if every single person was on the same page as abortion, then maybe we could do this after 20 years. And it's not just the law, it's including the societal pressure where everyone agrees that this abortion thing is abhorrent. We should shame
That's not
them.
everybody
That's not
agrees.
the case.
I didn't say it's
you
everybody
just said-
agrees. All
you
the
just
women who
said,
are getting
how are we
abortions
going to
don't
shame
disagree.
these people if half the country don't think the way that you do and don't want to shame these people? Like, obviously,
Let's
this
just
is not
say
gonna
that,
be
like, well,
effective.
do you think that,
Like,
like,
most people
do
don't
you think
care
when,
about
like, let's just, like, for example, like gay marriage, when that first started, do you think that the overwhelming majority of the country was in support of it?
You mean like in 2010, or like, do you talking about like back when like Gavin Newsom was marrying people like illegally?
No, let's say like when Obergefell took effect. Like, do you think that like the overwhelming majority of the country who was still Christian at the time, they were massively in support of this, or do you think that the quiet or the loud minority actually, voiced their opinions and started shaming people who were against it?
I mean, do we
know
have
it wasn't
stats
an
on
overwhelming
this?
majority, but yeah, I can look up. I don't know off the top of my
I'm
head.
just-
Do you mind if a
just based
chatter
off
gives it to me, or am I allowed to Google it? I don't know what.
I don't care if you Google it. I'm just asking, like, do you
Okay.
think the overwhelming majority of the U.S. was in support of it? I would say no. I don't think that they were.
So okay,
Nah,
yeah,
Soy
then
Pill,
I
you
see what
gotta
you're
ask
saying. So
Chuck's chat, buddy.
Sorry,
You gotta ask Chuck's chat.
Chuck's. Okay, Charlie. Yeah, can Charlie's chat give me the opinion polling on Obergefell when it was passed, please? But before I answer that, I see what
Hello,
you're trying
chat,
to say
can you
is
do this?
if a minority of people, say the anti-abortion Christian right, are to shame people, eventually they could influence opinions along with a Supreme Court case to the point where it becomes the overwhelming norm. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah. Like, do you think that could be the exact?
I think
same
it
thing
could
that-
happen, but I just think there's enough people that are very vehemently pro-choice that this is not going to be something that you can just easily influence through like culture and shaming. Like,
Just
I
like there
don't
are
think this
plenty of
realistically
people that are
happens.
vehemently anti-gay marriage.
Well, yeah, but the difference being some people have it ingrained in their system that like, yeah, I think that gay people are wrong, and like there's really nothing you can do to change those people's minds. But a lot of people
I think
that
there's
did
nothing wrong
change
with
their
killing
minds
babies.
had very kind of like closeted, like, you know, I don't really like these people for reasons that I can't properly explain. And then when they meet and are introduced with gay people in the culture, they realize, oh, I don't really give a shit if these people get married. So I don't think these things are analogous in the same way that like, I don't think the reason a bunch of people are pro-abortion, they'd suddenly become anti-abortion if you're like, hey, look at this abortion video, like, isn't this so gross? And it's like, well, yeah, but I still think it should be okay for them to get it.
Well, there are plenty of people like I've this is gonna be anecdotal, but I've spoken to plenty of people who say, you know, I agree with your arguments against abortion, but I see, you know, like the emotional appeals that the pro-choicers make, and you know, it tugs on the heartstrings, and you have to like that makes sense. Like these people get emotionally blackmailed into agreeing with these people, even though they know it goes against what their reason is telling them. Do you think that's not the case? That wasn't the case.
How are we going to get? I mean, apparently these emotional blackmailers are really powerful. How are we going to overcome this?
Yeah.
Is it like the laws get passed and suddenly these emotional blackmailers are going to just disappear? Like, I don't know. Like it seems
Do you
like
think
it's
there was
pretty
people who
effective.
emotionally blackmailed for gay marriage when it first happened?
I don't know if I would
Or
call
before
it
it happened?
emotional
A lot of
blackmail,
emotional
but
blackmailing was
I think
going
a lot of people said, "Hey, don't you care about me and my ability to be happy?" And you know,
Yeah, like
with my
can't
partner?"
what just love is love, man. Like let me, it's just gonna go to
I
that,
think
man. Just love
sometimes
is
people
love.
have
Like,
their
we
minds
should-
changed. I don't think that's necessarily blackmail. I think it's just like minds being changed sometimes. Also,
But
okay,
if we're not
my
legally
chat
married,
actually
then
pulled up a
I
poll
can't
on
be
gay
there.
At least
marriage.
chat is speaking, guys. We all
So
got
my
a debate down
my
now.
chat did pull up a poll. 2015, 60% of Americans supported same-sex marriage. 2014, 55%. 2013, 53%. 2012, 53%.
Well, Burgerfell was 2010,
2011,
so no,
45%.
Right.
2010, 52%. So
Oh no, it was 2015. Oh my god, what the fuck?
no,
Wow,
it was
so it was a
2013,
majority
I
5
think.
years before a Burgerfell was passed. That's crazy. Sounds like it's not that analogous.
No, it seems like people managed to, you know, through rhetoric and the very, very, very loud minority of homosexuals in the United States managed to, you know, basically just yell at people and socially shame them if they were
It's
against
not a
this
minority.
behavior.
All homosexuals are annoyingly loud, Steelborne. You and I both know that. Come on.
They are still the minority.
That's
They're a
true.
minority in the country.
Oh, compared to everyone else. Okay, I thought you meant
yeah, like they're
minority
like what,
gay
like
people.
like I think in totality like 1%, maybe.
Yeah, it's not many.
But they managed to get this law passed that made it federally legal. Isn't that crazy? Like,
Do you think they're just so good at emotional blackmail that they got 53% of the country?
I
on
didn't
board,
say
or
all
that
of it was
most-
emotional blackmail. I'm just saying that.
What percentage do you think is attributed to that, and what percentage is people just don't care if gay people
emotionally
get married?
blackmailed than people going like, actually, it's not that big of a deal. Who
If we're
cares?
not legally married, then I can't see my husband in the hospital. That's not
Yeah,
emotional
that
blackmail.
sucks.
No, that's
I mean, that's
a
what-
realistic
that's
description of what can happen if you don't allow them to be spouses in certain cases.
It's
Really? Because that's not the case.
importance of
You can
the
make somebody
marriage.
your medical proxy in like 10 minutes at a lawyer's office. Like it's not.
Oh,
hard
okay. Oh,
to do.
hey, I know you're in the ER. I'm gonna go to find a lawyer at 3 a.m. and get a fucking medical
Well,
proxy
I think he means by preemptive planning. I mean, even I could do that right now, or not
Right now, I can make
this
Sarah my
second,
medical
but.
proxy with no.
Oh, actually, Zoom legal, you probably could, and then just having it filed, yeah. But
yeah, I don't know.
Nobody would be able to stop me.
Empathy is not emotional blackmail. You can have emotional
making
blackmail
decisions
that
from
tugging
empathy
on
is a really
heartstrings,
bad
but
idea.
It's what?
I think empathy is not inherently bad, but if you're ignoring logic for empathy, sure, yeah, but that's not what's happening here. So,
Is your hair red, Speakeasy?
oh, is he doing it? Is he taking off the? Okay, Charlie, I gotta go with Speakeasy. This man has
did it.
pretty fucking luscious hair.
How
I'm not
much
gonna
did your
lie.
hold
He
on,
talked a lot of
Speakeasy?
shit, and this guy's got fucking
Did-
locks.
He wouldn't take
Hold on. Speakeasy, did you grift your chat to pay to make you take off your hat?
well, my wife asked me to do it to show her how stupid she is over here. So
I gotta say, if I ever
so,
concede a W, it's
you
the
know,
Charlie. This man has beautiful hair.
He does have nice hair. I'll concede that.
You thought he was gonna rip it off. It was gonna be some like bald guy, and he comes out here with the
I
fucking
was right. He
Fabio,
wouldn't
dude.
take off the hat. It's only bald guys that are scared of taking
It
off
does
the
raise
hat.
questions. Why were you so adverse to it?
Yeah,
You just
why
don't
were
like
you
listening
scared
to
of taking
women?
He likes his hat. What's wrong with that?
Well, because I'm not Chuck's dancing monkey. That's why. My wife.
Yeah, that's like when the guys ask a girl, like when they say, "Get up and do a twirl for me." It's a compliance thing to see if you'll do it or not. That's why I never do,
I just
because
think
I'm
should smile more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been smiling this whole time. I mean, you conceded the debate in your opening. Every example we give you, you guys have conceded.
I don't think that
Charlie,
happens. at all.
I forgot. So you haven't debated with SpeakeaZy, but you have to declare victory every like 10 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. We win. We won.
Yeah,
we
I
did
forgot.
it.
We won. We did win the debate,
We
though,
did.
right?
You conceded to
We
way
did
more
win
of
the
our debate than we
debate.
have
We did
yours.
win the debate.
Yeah, but just because you're too thick to understand what we're saying does not mean that we're not.
Oh, yeah.
feel like,
You're just too stupid to understand the very basic concept that we're saying.
mean,
That
hey,
if we
when
ban
we're right, we're
ban
right.
the behavior, it's not really going to ban the behavior because people are still going to do it anyway. It's just
I mean,
like
you
every
have yet to
fucking thing else that
contend.
we ban.
You have yet to contend.
You guys
with
all
my
suck.
aggregate strategy
All right.
shows
I'm pondering whether we have any more points to go through. We are kind of coming around a circular portion at this point. If you want, we can go ahead and move to close. I know it's kind of short-lived, but I don't know if anyone's going to get anywhere further or if somebody does have another point that they want to make. Otherwise, we can do closing statements and just hit open panel early on, and hopefully maybe some new points can get brought up on the panel. It's up to you guys. You all have to agree one way or the other. Otherwise, we go by default of the original plan.
I'm fine with the open panel. I don't really have anything else to say. I feel like we made our points. We have the studies.
Not just made our points, Charlie. We won. Just to be clear. Just to be clear.
I feel like we actually dominated.
No, in fact,
I
we
will
won-
say
we won before the debate started. In fact,
Yeah.
I want to say
I will
that.
say I did expect the other side to bring up like the stats in Canada because it actually speaks to our side, and usually people on that side think it speaks to theirs. But in Canada, it's just like a free for all. It's been decriminalized for the longest time now, and what you see is the abortion rates stays the same. Nothing fucking happens when you do nothing about it. If you do something about it, like you see in the States, shit changes. Effectiveness.
Wait, you're saying if you completely lift all restrictions on abortion, abortions don't go up?
No, they go up and then they stagnate at that
and then
really high rate.
it goes up and stays there, doesn't change.
Right.
I almost wish we had
America.
done a conversation around propaganda and its effectiveness. I don't know, like metrics wise, how that could be shown, but I feel like propaganda is a very vital piece and we weaponize it in some good ways, some bad ways. But I feel like that would have been that would be more effective in a lot of ways.
Effective demonstration of propaganda is cigarettes.
Yes. Why did we take Joe Cool down?
The old Superman episodes where he'd fight like that guy that was like Smokey, and he would just like crush cigarettes and say only like heroes don't smoke or something like that, and cross his arms, and then a bunch of kids stopped smoking after all the Superman commercials.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, even at that, why do we ban advertisements of people drinking? Like you can show alcohol, but you can't show them actually drinking. On advertisements, and then also like getting rid of Joe Cool. Even you can't do cigarette advertisements, so on and so forth. And I think a lot of that is because we know and understand how impressionable our youth are to advertisements, bright lights, cartoon characters. Joe Cool.
You mean like the Budweiser frogs?
Budweiser, a Budweiser. My favorite. I remember that one. See, it's so impressionable.
Look, I should have been born in the 70s, is all I'm saying.
Like the cigarette packs in Canada, they just show you like gross pictures of what cancer looks like on the lung, or people with a big hole in their throat to just like kind of scare you away from trying. And you've seen, you've actually seen less people smoking cigarettes now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to be clear, I looked up this Canada thing, and the most recent CDC data from the 2019, so this is an older article, shows that the U.S. abortion rate was 11.4 per 1,000 women, and it's marginally higher than Canada's at 10.1. And in Canada, it's been legal in all 9 states since 1988 with public health care. And is it provinces? Whatever. Who gives a shit?
Go ahead.
To be clear, no one likes Canada. I forgot you're
That's
Canadian.
true.
Thank you, American.
I don't think SpeakeaZy likes Canada.
Well, because he's Canadian, of course. Yeah, no. So if the abortion rate is literally lower in Canada than it is here, and they have like the most like complete like no restrictions, you're not even allowed to protest about outside of like abortion clinics there, and they have public.
That's
health
not
care.
true.
I mean, it says that
You
in
can
this article.
you can
I'm reading. I
protest
trust
outside
that,
of.
Yeah, there's
abortion
literally a
clinics.
Planned Parenthood not long, like a 10-minute drive from where I live, and there's people there protesting every day. So that's not true.
Well, maybe they changed it since
We have a
August
right to that
31st,
over here.
2022. But would trust you over me to know about Canada.
Anyway, I also don't think that showing pictures of what abortions actually look like would be very effective because if you have a uterus, it just looks like period if it's a medical abortion.
Have you ever seen a late-term abortion?
I have not, but most people are not seeking out late-term abortions.
True, but okay.
You should look it up.
It just looks
no,
like
I know for sure what a medical abortion looks like. I assure you.
Why? Because you had one? Oh. Wow.
Or
you're going to use your anecdotal experience to tell us what it looks like?
I promise you.
I want to correct myself, Speakeasy. It's several provinces, not states. Several provinces have it prohibiting protesting on the sidewalk outside of abortion facilities. Apparently, you don't live in one of these, or they've changed the law since then. So
yeah, and the point is that the reason I brought this up is that number stays the same, right? And that goes to show that when you do nothing about it, because it's decriminalized, nothing changes about the abortion.
Then why is the rate
laws are effective in lowering the numbers? That was what I was bringing this up for.
Why is the rate lower than in America then?
When you bring up the national rates, and this is actually you said it was in 2019 that was from? Yeah, so you probably want to bring up now to compare it. I bet you it'd be lower now. But even when you guys keep bringing up the national numbers average, I don't know how else to explain it to you other than this.
I'm aware that
average weather and saying it doesn't
offset certain states where it's illegal, but I would be interested to see that the rates are so high in places where they don't have abortion.
Yeah, you can actually make sense when you look at Canada.
Offsets it, right?
So Canada in 2020, or wait, which one was this? 2022 had 97,000 abortions roughly, and in 2022, the United States had about 1.4 million. And the population difference is that Canada has a population of about 40 million.
Can you just tell me the rates? Because you're just saying like raw numbers. The rates are kind of more important.
Yeah, do percentages.
Canada was about 10.1 abortions per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44 in 2020, and the United States was 15.9.
Okay, so like way higher in the United States, like 50% higher.
What? No, the opposite. United States is at almost 16.
Yeah, in Canada it's 10, so it's higher in the United States.
Yeah.
50% higher in the place where they have more restrictive abortion laws in a bunch of the states.
No, that was 2020.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you want to use a more recent number,
as of 2020.
Yes, a highher rate of abortions in places with a higher restriction than the place that has one of the least amount of abortion restrictions.
The United at that time, Roe versus Wade was
okay.
The
well,
rule.
Okay, sure. So then, use a new number from a new thing. But what you're reading to me now is telling me what we're saying, which is that if you completely unrestrict it, but you have better healthcare and contraception, you're going to have lower abortions than if you have more restrictive in more states. You're still going to have a higher rate. That's the whole point. Also, I have to say I won because that's the rule of this debate.
Yeah, we won. We did
based on that number, at least.
For the record, the chat always wins, especially my chat, ladies and gentlemen. It's the best damn chat, and they owned all of you, making fun of all of you, and they had a grand old time.
On open panel, and you made $8 billion.
Oh goodness! Speaking of, why don't we move into closing statements, and then we'll move into open panel dumpster fire. Charlie, would you like to start us off, please?
Me and Soy Pill won. It is undeniable that we are actually the winners. Abortion rates in the U.S., especially including the states bordering states with abortion bans, abortion numbers went up. Fertility rates are still dropping. All the data is on our side. Womp womp.
Thank you, Charlie. Soy Pill to you, please.
Yeah, just adding on to that, obviously declaring victory because we always win. But yeah, I mean, I think the important part to see is, yes, when you're looking at places where have incredibly restrictive abortion laws, you don't see a significant lower number of abortions. I mean, even the stat that Steele brought up at the very end there kind of shows what I'm saying, which is, yeah, you can restrict abortions, and obviously you're going to have some number that are going to decrease. But if you look at effective ways to make abortions not happen, this is not the best way to do it. If you look at the Guttmacher study, the best way to restrict abortions, and if you want fewer, dead babies, if you truly think it's killing a baby, I think everyone should be on board with this. We need to increase access to contraception so that people have fewer unintended pregnancies. But otherwise, I just don't think these people contended at all with what we were saying about how this is completely unfeasible to ban it nationwide in the way that they want. And unless you were able to somehow draconially, enforce this everywhere across the entire planet, there's just no effective way to stop people from getting these. You're not reducing the demand. Enough people are going to give the supply, doctors included, that you can't have your magical mifepristone detectors in mail. So just increase birth control and we can have fewer abortions and everyone could be happy.
Thank you, Soy Pill. SpeakeaZy to you, please.
Yeah, so again, the question isn't whether people still want abortions or whether they'll try to get them somewhere else. The question is whether anti-abortion laws are effective at reducing abortions. And inside the jurisdictions where they're passed, the evidence is bulletproof. Right? When the ban hits, the clinics shut down, in-state abortions collapse to almost zero. Right? Birth rates rise in those states. You guys keep bringing up these other states. You're just saying criminals, criminal. Good fucking argument. All right. Every county argument you've heard tonight concedes the same point. People have to travel. People have to look for pills. People had to scramble. This is literally the definition of effectiveness. It literally changed the people's behavior. So here's the takeaway. You can argue about morality, argue about the safety or your scary back alley abortions. All right. But you can't argue with the data. Anti-abortion laws don't just send a message. They change behavior, they change the numbers, and they change reality. And that's effectiveness. Case closed.
Thank you, SpeakeaZy. And Steelborne to you, sir.
I mean, since we're all doing it, yeah, me and SpeakeaZy totally fucking won this debate. They didn't contend with a single point that I made, nor did they actually argue against any of them. They conceded to a lot of them. Like nobody owns people. That's crazy. I mean, it's like we banned slavery and now there's no slaves in the United States. Isn't that? It might have taken a couple of years for that to happen, but it did happen. So it's like,
technically, it's still legal.
My closing, shut up.
Someone's a prisoner.
It's his closing statement. Thank you.
God, these fucking people. Freaking progressives have no respect. Anyways,
true.
If it was the case that we could federally ban abortion, which is most definitely doable, like it's like logically possible that we could do it, no questions asked, and not only that, it is practically possible to do so. Which is, if you get an abortion, you go to jail for murder. It's not that hard to understand. You could just make that the law of the land, and then people would stop doing it because they would rather not go to prison for murder as opposed to, I don't know, having a baby and giving it up for adoption. Having babies, the things that women have been doing for thousands of years, if not millions of years. These things that their bodies are designed to do. Like it's not like we're asking you to can you just cough up your leg for people because they could just really use it? No, it's the thing that the uterus is actually designed to do. It has a function, a purpose. It was designed to breed, or it was designed to reproduce offspring. So it's not like we're asking you to do anything that's out of the norm. We're asking you to just not kill your children. And that's the laws that we advocate for. Could we enforce those laws? Absolutely. They couldn't contend with any of the points. Me and SpeakeaZy won this debate. And with that, I'll just see the rest of my time.
I forgot to mention I win. I forgot to mention.
I was going to say, Charlie, they kind of got us. They I think I counted 4 declarations of win. We only had 2.
Oh, fuck.
So
damn it.
Well, we won.
Yep,
we won. That's 2.
Oh, goodness. Well, I honestly think if you guys want to prevent abortions from happening, you should promote abstinence and all of that fun propaganda to lead in that direction. Okay, we're going to respond to Super Chats. The panel is officially open. Please feel free to start hopping backstage. If you'd like to add on to the conversation, we'd love to have you. The link is pinned in the chat. Wow, that's a lot of people already jumping back there. All right. Savage Red Recovery says the Big Ten says, I'm in Ohio, and there was a lot of things that were weird about the election, from marijuana and abortion. And there was a lot of things that were, I think he probably was double typing or something. Any thoughts to add to that? No.
I guess he's claiming that because the abortion law wasn't effective in Ohio, it's because there was like a election riggery or something. I don't know what he's kind of getting at.
Yeah.
I think when this came in, it was first having to do. You guys were talking about Texas and the laws and doing adjacent state stuff, so maybe it fell somewhere in there. I'm not sure, but well, he's backstage, so maybe he can explain it a little more. Tard Wrangler, love that name, says made sriracha and peanut butter sandwiches as a drunk snack. Shit sucks. Don't make it. Ew. Thank you for the heads up.
Awful.
That sounds completely awful. Savage Red says makes sense. The smug soy boy grew up middle class or upper middle class. How dare you, Soy?
I'm not smug because I grew up upper middle class. I'm smug because I'm right. I just also happen to grow up upper middle class.
Fair enough. K2 Keep on Truckin' says the delivery driver is supposed to report suspicious behavior, especially with medicine, and then the company reports it, and then a federal investigation goes on distracted paperwork.
Yeah, police. This envelope feels like mifepristone. I think you should come check it out.
Yeah, holy mother! Yeah, the medicine, the suspicious medicine shit they're looking at is usually what is it called? Class. What are the super restricted drugs? I actually have one on my desk right now. Schedule 1. I take Vyvanse.
All right. So the thing is, you keep acting like it would be impossible. You keep acting like it would be impossible to find this stuff in the mail, right?
It would be stupid difficult. It would be dumb difficult. I promise you.
Yeah. Okay.
Where are these drugs made?
But we literally make sure that illegal shit doesn't go through the mail all the time.
Okay,
right? You would require some type of judicial oversight and warrants for any mails, right away. You would have it right away. Include medical emergencies and have some type of sticker that represents the exception of that it's coming from a actual prescribed medication. All right. There's plenty of ways we could stop illegal pills from getting through the mail. Why do you think we don't we catch MDMA and all these other types of pills they try to send through the mail?
This is not a we. You're talking about us. And again, as an American, let me make this clear. We have a lot of people in our country, and the USPS is not funded well. This would be extremely difficult to do and would be a pain in the ass. And there's not really
as an American, I can tell you, you should just try and order some
good fucking argument, Michael Jackson.
Some fentanyl in the mail.
Try ordering that in the mail and see if they stop you before it fucking happens.
To be fair, I mean, the Silk Road was incredibly prolific for like a decade because it was incredibly hard to stop it, and only by shutting it down, and not because they were able to like have mail restrictions on all the drugs that we were shipping and buying with Bitcoin. When I say we, by the way, I don't mean I was doing it. I just think all these other people were doing it.
I mean, I'm assuming it's only like one pill, right? It wouldn't be that hard to have a service selling something of some sort and putting one pill in it. Well, they could be in a place where it is legal, right? To get one pill, one girl goes, "Yep, I need a pill." Yada yada yada.
Yeah, but this is if it wasn't illegal everywhere, right? Obviously, we want the ban everywhere. We don't just want it in certain states. We want it every state.
Right, so, but again, we're talking a reality.
Again, I need you to stop saying we, bro. You are Canadian. I hate it when Canadians...
Hey, bro, I voted for Trump too, stupid. I'm a dual citizen. Shut your dumb ass up for a minute. Stop talking while people talk.
You voted for Trump?
Yes. I got to vote. Yes.
What are you originally?
So shut up for a minute.
Are you American?
Well, Charlie, we don't have to make the racist arguments. Okay? We accept.
Yeah, no, I am right now. Were you American or Canadian originally?
I'm a dual citizen.
Okay, but
do you understand what that means?
No man can serve two masters.
She doesn't understand it, frankly. Not that bright.
Where are you from?
Dumb as a fucking stump you
Where
are.
Are you from?
How'd you get up into debating?
I came in here.
You should
next.
Wait, are you living in Canada?
Next question or comment. You're all getting neutered until it's time you want a baby. Problem solved. Ooh, yikes. Savage Red said, as a person with 5 children, I don't need a liberal, childish woman to tell me about the stages of pregnancy, embryos, or fetuses. Shots fired at you, Charlie.
I think I just saw a really stupid chat pop up, Sarah, that said like per 1,000 isn't per capita. Isn't that like literally what is per capita per 100 or like? It's literally like for each individual.
Whatever the metrics are that you set up.
Yeah, like it could be per 1,000. It could
be
per
like
100.
how you
per 100,000, however you
depending on how you're comparing
like,
different places, right?
Yeah, but like they're arguing that it's like, well, it's not like that doesn't take into account population size, but that's literally what it is. It's per 1,000 people. Like if there was 1,000 people, if there are 10 million people, per 1,000 is the rate per 1,000 people, which you could then divide by 1,000. It would be per capita.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you want to go that rate, I mean, technically speaking,
I'm not arguing with you, Steelborne. I'm arguing with
the private chat, and everyone's spurging in the private chat. I don't like it when you talk in the private chat unless it's logistics only. Please put your opinions in the regular chat. Thank you, or I will boot the fuck out of you out of my stage. Grid says, can either side please start making actual arguments and holding positions? I actually expect much better from all of you. Ooh, you all just got dad wonned. No. And yes, I'm a dick. No, I think you're just a dad. He just dadded all of you.
Grid's actually kind of a nice guy. I'll say that.
I met Grid one. He's an awesome guy. He's really fucking funny to be around.
Grid's great. Savage says, of course, a childless woman doesn't know anything about pregnancy is lecturing us. You liberals need to stop talking about rural middle America. You don't know what you're talking about.
Is that person's profile picture just a homeless person?
County, so.
I'm not sure. What is that actually? I almost thought that was never mind. Also followed up with 2022, Texas had 297,000 babies born in 2023, 397,000 babies born in 2024, 600,000 babies born. Are you lying, ma'am? Did she freeze, or she
counteracts the study on like birth rates, and rates have to do with the rate and not the number. And if the population's increasing, there's going to be more people. But if the birth rate's decreasing, that's kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah, it's percentages.
Okay. Amy says, are we looking at baby deletions for all birthing persons or just biological women? That probably makes a difference.
Like a trans joke? Trans people can't have babies, right? Trans women?
I think it's a trolling question. I'm pretty. I
feel like
couldn't
this is like the
imagine
pregnant
it.
people joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there can be pregnant trans men, right?
Oh God. Savage says, Charlie, you're a man. He's got a thing for you. Charlie, you're right. Women are naturally devious because we caught you lying on stream, Charlie. You're right. Women are naturally devious because you caught. I wonder if he's doing like voice.
Are these people typing? They're hyping up their chats. They're typing in a notepad like this is going to hit so hard, and they copy paste it into the chat box, and then they like hit it twice.
It might be voice to text too. I know that has a lot of translation errors. We've seen that happen with our trucker friends. Shags sends money just to support us. We love you. Thank you, Shags. I like your name. Jess says, ban abortion, use condoms, stop trusting guys to pull out in time, and maybe don't fuck people you wouldn't want kids with.
Like I said, if you're going to ban abortion nationwide, if this was accompanied by like unrestricted access to contraception everywhere, I think you'd actually see a pretty significant drop in abortions to the way that people want them to go away. Unfortunately, they're also trying to get rid of
What's the restricted access you're talking about?
Like, let's just say abortion was just illegal in every circumstance, but everyone had a complete and total, like, universal access to contraception.
Wait, I asked you.
That's what we're asking.
What's
what
the
do you mean?
restriction we don't have right now? Like, who can't go get condoms, bro?
No.
I think it's more like religious stuff.
First of all, people are trying to ban contraceptions in a lot of places, but
cool. That's not what I asked you.
What I'm saying is universal access to birth control. I'm saying that it is like free, and it's like there's a fucking.
You know what birth control does to women? Do you understand all the negative side effects that come with birth control?
I'm very aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So why would you want to promote this?
So that we have fewer unintended pregnancies, which
you could just tell people to stop fucking until they're ready to have children. That is
the way we can still be degenerate but not get pregnant. Like, what is this, dude?
I know telling people not to have sex works for you, Steelborne, but most people want to have sex, and unfortunately, you have to kind of
I'm not saying
do
that.
other
I'm saying
things.
you don't
Up until sex ed got into classrooms, it worked for everyone else too. Stupid.
No, it literally didn't. If you
Yeah,
look
it literally
you can look
did.
at literally
when they
controlling
introduced
for
sex
abstinence
education into school, that's when you seen the rise in teen pregnancy. That's
So what he's
no,
talking
it's
about
actually the
specifically was
opposite. Sex ed and a non-abstinence only
my
education
Lord.
decreases teen pregnancies.
I don't remember what year it was. I think the
You guys
I
just
think the
make
study
up
was
shit
done
as you
for-
go
Hey,
off.
children, children,
Hold on.
children,
Charlie Chat.
children,
Can we get a Charlie
children,
Chat fact check
children,
on that one, please?
children. I have a feeling I'm going to be playing the horse video a lot tonight just for your chat,
please, no.
Soy. Well, if you guys keep talking over each other, I will. So fuck around and find out. All right.
Okay, just Sarah, I am putting
yeah.
in that more comprehensive sex education reduces teen pregnancies, just because he thinks I pulled it out of my ass, but it's because I read a study once.
What else can you pull out of your ass? K2 says, know what you guys can...
Is there an HR for the Raging Tomato Show? Excuse me.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yes, I am HR.
Doesn't want to deal with.
K2 says, know what? You guys convinced me I need to buy more pew-pews.
Left-wing audience, buy more guns. I agree.
There you go.
No, real quick, Soy, I just wanted to mention this. What SpeakeaZy was trying to reference, I think it was done between 1979 and 1980, where they did or maybe no, it was 1979 to 1989, I think. Might have the decade wrong, but it was somewhere it was a decade-long study where they did. They asked high school graduates whether or not they had their virginity intact prior to them bringing sex education into the school. About 90% of high school graduates said they still had their virginity exiting high school. 10 years after they implemented sex education, something like 90% of high school graduates graduated without their virginity.
Okay, wait. I need to... Okay, first of all, have you taken into account the phenomenon of lying bitches? But if we ignore that, have you considered that as we introduce more progressive sex education that tells people that you shouldn't feel shamed for losing your virginity, fewer people are going to say, oh, I totally have my virginity intact. And they're going to say, yeah, oh, it's okay to admit that I don't have it. Like in the 80s versus like the 70s, or if we go back to like the 50s and shit, where they would do like fucking hymen checks on wives before marrying them. Yeah, like of course.
Jesus. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is if you look at actual abstinence-only education and how ineffective it is in stopping teen pregnancy, but then you bring up a study of, hey, we just asked people whether or not they are virgins, and like
weird, you tried to use that as an argument earlier, and then you used my argument against it. That's
the difference is women usually don't lie about getting an abortion. The difference is women usually don't lie about getting abortions. If anything, they would be more likely to say, no, I wouldn't, because of a lot of people shaming them, versus people are definitely lying about, I have my virginity intact.
Do you think that they were being asked by their mom and dad, dumbass? They were being asked by fucking research teams. They didn't know.
They're
and
still
was
not
totally
going to
anonymous.
say yes. What the fuck? Also, I do think that my generation having less sex than our parents, millennials and Gen X, that counts for something. We have more sex ed than ever, and Gen Z is not blinking.
Yeah, but even if I grant this study, you had a medical abortion, I wouldn't use yourself as an example here. You're an example of why we should ban it.
What?
Didn't you just say earlier you had a medical abortion?
Oh, I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't?
I think she said she would.
As your example of how you know what it looks like?
What a medical abortion
that isn't what you said?
I told you.
All right, backpedal now, though.
I didn't say that I had.
No, she did, to clarify. She did say if she did, because she was talking about the adjacent state and going somewhere else to do, she would in fact do that. If she needed to.
Said she knows what it looks like, because she said that it looks like just a period. And I said, is that really what you think? And she said, I know. So
that
doesn't mean she did it.
So how do you know? We're implying that you have personal experience.
I've actually been in the warehouse where Charlie force feeds mifepristone.
To be fair, I've seen a lot of videos on it. I've seen it like on videos, so that I'm just trying to make sure we're not putting words in people's mouths that don't belong.
SpeakeaZy, I've seen beheading videos, and I want to make it clear to everyone in chat, I've never beheaded a single person.
That's fair. We all saw that one.
Like to behead a human being.
You totally could.
All right, last two, then we're going into dumpster fire. On the edge, Marte says Chuck's shirt is perfect. She's the Michael Myers of her womb. I feel like we need a lovely solo display of the lovely Michael Myers, although that is bad. Halloween safety.
Yeah, babysitter safety.
Also, you'll
babysitter's guide.
Charlie will stand up for Sarah, but you won't take your hat off for Charlie. SpeakeaZy.
Oh,
Again, unlike you, Soy Pill, I don't simp for everything that has a vagina, you know?
Well,
My
and
wife
to be
has-
fair, I
like,
wasn't calling
I'm
her
not like
out
one of
in
the
a
most
bad
sexist
way.
left-wing people I know.
K2, keep on trucking. Last one. They found people buying the CDL instead of taking road tests, followed the cash through the mail. They found
I think
people.
he's just trying to make an argument that like people are, getting around certain driving restrictions.
No, that's
and
not
they
what
were
he's
able to
pointing
track
out
back
that they
them, right?
actually they popped them for it.
Yeah.
That they actually were able to do that by just looking through the mail. They popped people who were just buying a
Yeah.
CDL as opposed to taking the test.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to look for cash through the mail. I think
when they were trying when those people were trying to send those puberty blockers and shit to kids through the mail, guess what happened? We stopped it. Oh, it looks like you can stop specific pills from getting through the mail. Stupid. Holy fuck.
Aren't puberty blockers like a liquid?
Shots. It's
Yeah.
shots, I believe. Yeah. Which is a lot easier to find.
The hormone pills too. You
I
don't remember?
I don't know.
Testosterone is in gel or
is this lady fucking crocheting a scarf?
Like, you guys
She
just, like,
does that. She does that every stream. It's her.
I'm
some
not
people
judging her
play
for
with
having the ADHD.
paper
I was
clips.
just judging the outlet of the ADHD, which was fucking crocheting a scarf.
I think it's awesome because it keeps her
It's
busy
fun.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
play
good thing.
solitaire.
Trust
I was
me.
playing solitaire through some of this too.
Oh my god! All right, dumpster fire. Here we come.
Sarah,
Yes.
link
Whoa.
for the panel. My chat is asking for it.
Yeah, you can drop the same link that I gave you if you want, or I can drop it backstage if you need it right now, like that. Actually, I'll just drop it
If
backstage.
it's a StreamYard one, I can drop that in chat. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, everyone, welcome. We got some new faces here. Welcome to the Raging Tomato, also known as the Open Panel Dumpster Fire. What is fun about this is there are other people waiting backstage to get on, and what can happen is if you start talking crazy or being annoying, the chat can and will boot you with a measly $10 of their hard-earned money that they will super chat up here, and they will say, get rid of such and such, yada, yada, yada. Throughout the evening, I will be dropping into the chat who is backstage. That way they know who's waiting so patiently. It's a full panel back there, so whoever keeps trying to hit the button to get in, please stop. You're going to have to wait until somebody leaves. Outside of that, keep your interruptions to a minimum. When it gets chaotic, I play really stupid videos. Soy Pill absolutely loves the horse video. It is his favorite. So if you interrupt, plan on seeing that one very, very soon. Somebody already paid in advance just for you, Soy. Let's go ahead and kick off. Savage, you were first in line, and also you had some super chats. I'd imagine you have some things to say. Go ahead.
So to answer the question about my picture, that is a picture of CT as a homeless man sleeping on the street. That's what my picture is. Second, so you said that the birth rate slightly dropped. From what I'm looking at, I'm seeing that it went to 60.6 per thousand people, and then it dropped to 60.6 per thousand people. So can you tell me what it dropped to with that Texas, with the study you have for Texas?
Oh, you're looking at the Texas study? Let me see.
It looks like 52.4 over here. That's the number I see here.
Okay. So, I guess just a quick question. The prompt is, are anti-abortion laws effective at reducing abortions? Isn't like currently, right? like the current abortion laws, are they effective at
concept.
reducing abortions?
No, that is also, a part of the prompt, I think.
Sure, because I guess the reason I ask is because my understanding, and I could be wrong about this, is my understanding of the data is that due to the offset of people traveling across state lines and using things like telehealth, that the abortion rate nationally has not actually gone down since the overturning of Roe v. Wade. So at least in terms, so maybe the prompt you guys should have taken, SpeakeaZy and Steelborne, is anti-abortion laws could reduce abortions, could be effective at reducing abortions. I think that might have been a better prompt for you guys.
Pointing out what happens in the the surrounding states isn't actually addressing the argument. The number of abortions in the state went down, and the birth rate went up.
Well,
but the people who were seeking abortions still go elsewhere.
Gun crime.
If you have it banned everywhere,
one at a time, please. One at a time.
Right. If you have it banned everywhere, you can't just go elsewhere. So this argument of they can just go elsewhere would be taken away. So do you have something else, or?
Yeah, so like I said, that would be a different prompt. Then that would be like a different set of laws than what we have currently. The anti-abortion laws currently don't seem to nationally reduce the abortion rate, is what I'm pointing out.
Did they reduce it in the states that they're in?
You can't point at the national.
Seems like it was pretty effective in the states then.
Because
don't
would be
all
like
lives matter.
No, because it would be like pointing out the averages across America of the weather to say it doesn't snow.
But
do you understand? You can't.
The states nearby have influxes in abortion
it's
because people
by
are traveling.
State basis, not the national.
People are traveling across state lines. To get abortion.
Yeah, let's just look it up.
National.
Well, people went to Colorado from Texas,
nationally.
Right?
Do you guys care?
People went from Colorado. People went to Colorado from Texas
happening.
for
Would you say
abortions,
that's
right?
good?
Potentially, yeah.
Why don't we just look up how much there was an increase in abortions in Colorado when Texas banned it?
And additionally, how much of an increase there was in telehealth and abortion pills being sent to people in those states.
Yeah, we would stop that. That would be an anti-abortion.
Yeah, you would. Again, that would be different laws than we have right now. So again, a better prompt for you guys that you wouldn't have lost on would be: could abortion laws be effective?
Coder, is it an anti-abortion law? Yes or no?
The current abortion laws?
No.
Yes.
No. If we were to make it that the FDA made sure that these pills weren't allowed to be sent through the mail, right? Would that be an anti-abortion law?
Sure, and potentially that could reduce abortion. We haven't seen that happen.
Right?
We haven't seen that happen, so
it would be effective, though, right?
Potentially, but you're just speculating.
Okay.
If the FDA
potentially or logically
pills, like they just banned them in the United States, like that would just potentially reduce.
How would it go up?
Oh, we do actually have a number. 170,000 patients traveled out of state in 2023 to seek abortion care. But that doesn't account for at-home abortions that people got through telehealth.
People travel states to do fucked up shit that they
no. That's people left their states. People left their.
So that number, that 170,000, is that throughout the entirety of the nation?
In all states that have abortion bans.
Okay, so yes, that was all states. Okay, that's what I was trying to understand.
What's up? So considering the prompt says abortion laws plural, it's implying what's going on in the status quo as there are multiple laws in different states. If the prompt said an overall abortion ban across the entire country, it would say an abortion law, because one federal law would be all you would need, right? So because it's plural, I think it's implying the status quo.
You would need to implement it through the mailing services as well. You would have to do a lot of different things, actually. You would have to have the punishment not only for the woman getting the abortion, but the people performing it. If it was like some like underground doctor, like everyone thinks is going to happen, right? Like, so there would be actually more than just one law, But
that's really the only way that the offset gets rid of, right? Is that you have to have a total abortion ban. Any way of just having abortion laws in different places, it's only going to offset to places where it's legal, right?
Well, that
not necessarily.
That isn't addressing if it's effective or not. That's just saying people, if people have an easy access right next door to do the thing they're not allowed to do in the current place, that they're going to go next door to do it. But if you take away the next door, then what?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to have a total abortion ban to actually do it. Is what I was saying earlier. You guys were asking whether or not the numbers moved down to Texas.
One at a time, please. One at a time. One at a time.
Okay, Effigy, you wouldn't have to have a total ban. Let's just say the United States split down the middle, right? Like we did for the Civil War, like just that, but it goes all the way to California now, right? Do you think people in North Dakota, there's going to be anywhere near as many people in North Dakota who wanted to get an abortion are going to drive down to like Texas to get one if it was legal there?
Yep.
Yes.
Just as many people are who wanted to get one in North Dakota are just going to drive to Texas to get it.
Yes.
I don't think you understand how big a deal being pregnant is.
I don't think that you understand the
Oh
fact that
my
what you're saying is absolutely
gosh.
ridiculous. That there's going to be 1.5 million illegal abortions. In the
We're
United
mad.
States.
We don't
None
understand.
of that matters. Roe v. Wade, one of the
bro, are you
number
not?
one maternal
What the fuck you
fatality
talking
things
about,
was
bro? You-
unsafe abortions, right? There were entire wards in hospitals dedication to the things that happened to women through unsafe abortions.
Yeah, in 1971, before Roe versus Wade, how many women died from legal abortions?
I don't have the exact stat in front of me.
It was
so.
29.
You mean
How many
from
think died
illegal?
from illegal abortions in the United States in 1971?
How many?
And tell me.
It's 36. Such a
Okay.
massive increase. I know, it's crazy.
Wait,
Nobody's actually
did you say
engaged with this
illegal
debate
versus
yet.
illegal in the same year? Is that what the
Nobody-
number?
I agree.
No one has engaged with this debate yet. Not from the
All right,
beginning.
so
I think
help us out
Grid
here.
one,
Right.
Grid one was accurate in what he was saying.
Okay, so
When I
help
read
us
the
out.
title, of this debate, the key word that rang out to me was effective. Now, I am 110% against Soy Pill's philosophy, but he was actually the closest to engaging with this debate the entire time, because he was saying pretty effective or substantially effective, something along those lines. And when you add in adjective modifiers to that, it means there's a percentage number in your mind of what you're thinking will cross the line into effectiveness. So, for example, if there is an effectiveness in any kind of state on abortion, let's say there is, a Soy Pill, and let's say that he thinks it's 40%, SpeakeaZy thinks it's 20%, but the actual number is 30%. Well, then you're all going to be wrong. So nobody's actually engaged because nobody has defined what effectiveness is from the very
I
beginning.
literally defined what
Did
effectiveness
they
is.
alter their
how did you
behavior?
define
Come
it?
in late or something?
Well, it's
I
possible. I may
literally
have,
defined what effectiveness
what
is.
did you say that it
You
was?
said if it reduces it by
I thought
one.
you heard all my arguments and you know how incoherent I
okay,
was.
hold on a
Now all of
second. I
sudden
didn't-
you don't know
I
what
Go
did not
ahead.
heard you say it.
Hold on.
What did
Go
you say?
ahead and go ahead and
Did they alter their behavior due to the laws going into effect?
Well, I'm just asking SpeakeaZy, what did you say that it was at the
That's
very
what he
beginning?
said.
Say it again.
Did they alter their behavior due to the abortion laws going into effect?
Just to be clear, by that definition,
in
if the
the
number of
state-
abortions stayed
Let me
exactly
try-
the same, but they did it in a different way because they altered their behavior, you would call that effective.
Yes.
It reduced the number of
Well,
abortions.
let me put it this way. Let me put it a different way.
Just because you don't like the effectiveness doesn't mean that it's not effective.
Well, yeah,
The whole
I
thing
agree
is
with that
you
too. Yeah,
literally
you're
just
right.
said,
I guess
Chris,
if that's
but
what you're
you
arguing
literally
for, is
just
for everyone
said,
to have
Chris,
the
All right,
exact
let
same
me
number
let
of
me
abortions.
reset because you guys are interrupting. If you're watching on the tomato side, I'm about to raid you over to the gauntlet. If you're already there, congratulations, you're where you need to be. I'm going to shut the tomato down in exactly 2 minutes. So either start moving over with the link that's being dropped in the chat or catch the raid. Up to you. And Chris, you got about 60 seconds to finish your thought because a boot just came in for you. But I'll let you, I
Okay.
want you to finish your thought.
If we could just all agree that because we're not omniscient, there's no possible way that we could determine that even one person was not deterred from any such law. There's nobody that could ever determine that. So it's impossible to disprove that. So all we're saying is that if somebody believes that one person being deterred from this is effective, that would then essentially be effective. And then the debate's over. I mean, because it becomes completely subjective at that point. So
I
that's
agree.
what I wanted to say is let's, define our parameters before continuing the discussion.
Yeah, one life saved is worth it. Facts.
All right, Chris, I'm going to throw you backstage. Now, I'm going to put you back in line, so hang tight because it moves fast.
Timu Rob
go
Nor.
Hey, we've been calling him Timu Rob Noor for a while now, and it's been great having him on because he does look like him. Right?
I
might as well own it.
I've never heard of anybody ever. You need to start getting aggressive with Ryan.
So I think Chris actually raised a really good point. Like, how are we precisely, like maybe metrically, or is there a hard line definition that is objective that we could say is effective? Can anybody maybe offer something to that?
I would like to say that I think that
earlier.
I think that it would have to be something that would, I mean, the purpose of, the abortion laws in the U.S. were, it's my understanding, enacted because they wanted to increase the population of native-born Americans. And so I think that if there hasn't been a significant increase in the American population, then I don't think it's terribly effective. If we don't really have like a proper,
no, it's value of life. That's what
you're literally attacking.
That's what the
you're
purpose
literally
is.
attacking a straw man. The point of anti-abortion laws is because the people who want abortion laws passed is because we believe that human life has inherent value and that those babies in the womb have a right not to be destroyed by their mothers before they get the chance to even defend.
All right. Well, I'm just trying to be practical because
that's great. But that's not our position. So you're attacking a literal straw man.
A concern. If we, oops, I just pulled out my fucking headphones.
Well, the practicality of it would be the value of the life.
Speak? Hello.
You can go ahead. It's
Hello?
your panel.
No, what you're saying is we want to
I'm
decide
still
that the government
talking.
gets access